We live? Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's episode of Blood and Sand, breaking in the new year with the oldest campaign that we currently have running. And this will probably be one of the 4 sessions we have this year.
Yep. Yeah, probably.
So, our party is currently traversing through Old Fortune, a forest that has seemed to have come under some sort of pestilent assault. Who would like to begin explaining the insanity of this session to our viewers, all 2 of them? You're pointing at me. That's not happening. That is not happening.
Spook cast Baton Pass.
Baton Pass.
I use Protect. No.
Damn it.
Works on everything.
That's wrong, but we're not going to get into Pokemon. Nemo? I remember how it ended, I can't remember how it started.
Yeah, neither can I.
Yeah, neither do I. Okay,
We don't know anything.
I remember we had some trouble at the town, and we decided that we were going to fortify the place before heading off to the arena. Well, while we're heading to the arena.
Will I do it?
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, if you can remember better than I can.
I remember.
I should be. It's my fucking job. Do you actually remember, Spook? Because I am aware you were drunk.
Yeah, I remember. We spent most of the session plotting what we wanted to do to save the town and what we were going to do when we got to this town. And then we went on the trek all the way out to Old Fortune. And then when we got there, there was 2 big nasty evil trees called Gary and Philippine. And we took them out.
They were Fred and Jack. Get your shit right. You know next time.
To kill them. I climbed on them, as I do. I'm good at that.
And they were beating the shit out of you.
I walked into a river, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but we killed them because they were like covered in evil stuff, and Blue just went for a walk because she weren't interested.
Yeah, I got like all weirdly poisoned and it was affecting my brain, so I just decided I'm gonna walk in this direction, and I landed in a river.
Maddening screech, it made you confused, and you just walked in a random direction after stabbing Grunt once.
And then I nearly drowned, but she fished me out.
Yeah, me and Grunt went to get you, and she got there first. And then she
turned into a T-Rex. Appeared, aided you, turned into a T-Rex. And you guys realized very quickly that your radiant damage was being very proficient against these guys.
Yes.
You then, with Scylla, you explained your current situation with him, and you trekked towards... Damn you. You trekked towards the heart of the forest, which you've been in once before with the drive that you aided against saved from the green dragon that had essentially taken over this forest, and Scylla. You all were plotting your next moves, and Scylla and yourselves were explaining. He explained to you that there was a sinister element, much like the creature that had hunted down Alistair, but one that was more intent on actually spreading dark influence and corruption, turning the forest from its beautiful, tranquil state into a more Shadowfell, almost dark and twisted, manipulated maze of brines and everything nasty in the world. You were plotting what to do when Buckley came to the conclusion of, I shall perform divine intervention, rolled sufficiently to succeed, and earned a Sun Sword for himself. I do believe the Sun Sword... Normally, Sun Swords have effects which are very advantageous against undead, but this one specifically has bonuses against fiends. And the damage type is not in fact slashing, but radiant. And it was at the request of somebody to help the corruption, and you came to the... And as is the way with most of these things, such as the divine intervention, you were aware of how to properly use this. The creature, much like the ones you previously fought, have corrupted acidic blood, and simply cauterizing the wound as you strike with this weapon will be proficient to, well, fuck it up. And this was the last thing that occurred at the end of the night, anyone who's currently around, as Grunt has learned not to disrupt the Dryad's concentration on her spell, which is protecting the forest. You all sit around as Buckley, who is knelt in meditative prayer, has a hilt in his hand that then erupts into this bright blue, slightly red flame of the Sun Sword. Do believe I had, the Sun Blade. And I'll just click again to show the players, but Blue, you can pop it up from the magical items if that did not work.
Yeah, it worked.
And it is the blue hot, kind of almost flame of a forge.
Comes in strobe as well.
Yes, we specified that for some reason.
It's to go in sync with the air horn when we fire it off.
I think
When we're finished with the
next 7
Sun Sword,
days,
we're going to stick it with the middle finger that we left out in the desert.
So, what would you guys like to do?
Long rest, please.
I think we did that.
Did we? I can't remember. It's been 2 months.
This is just before your long rest.
Long rest, please.
We do that.
Yeah.
I don't know
Because
why,
I've
but I've
already
got full
marked
health
off
and
that I'll get
everything,
everything
so...
Yeah, I think me and Nemo did the forest already.
Same.
That's fair. As your night continued, Grunt, you're sleeping, and you do get a familiar scent on the wind, and you just get a swift
Sorry.
kick into the ribs,
Yep.
and over you is standing a figure that you have not seen in what feels like decades, even though it may have only been just one. With tattoos all across the chest and torso, all the arms are done with this design that looks like the heads of two wolves in tattoos down the forearm, from the shoulder down to the top of the bicep. Hands wrapped in these very tight, not so much gauntlets that cover fingers, but more just a wrist cover. You do see your father.
Which one?
Boom.
Is it a man or a woman?
Father.
Which one?
You're asleep
Not
anyway.
specify for Grunt.
It is,
Terms like that don't apply to
Is
Grunt.
it Nerd or Kuhart?
It is Nert.
I see him. I stand up, looking very intimidating. And
When you
Then
stand up, you remember something very important. He's a good head and shoulder above you, and is broader than you as well. So you are too. If you were say 6, or if you were 7 foot and 300, he's 8 foot 5, 400. He's a big guy.
I grit my teeth, squint my eyes, and I clench my fist, and I break down into tears in my daddy's arms.
Aww.
And he
That's
holds
the
you.
most noise he's made in a while.
And he does hold you for what feels like an eternity for you for a minute. And after a while, you are aware as well, Scylla is observing this. This is in the wee hours of the morning. Actually, Delmara, you're a full elf as well, so you'd have already gotten your 4 hours of rest at this point by the time he comes over. So what you are woken up to, Delmara, is the sound of sobbing. And you see a Goliath that looks the size of a bear holding Grunt in his arms.
Who basically is a bear.
More like a wolf.
I look over the Scylla, just going like, I don't know what to do! But silently.
He just looks to you, just puts up a hand as if to say, just let it happen. So,
Grunt is
do you want to
just a
say anything,
mess.
or are you just sobbing?
No, she's just ugly crying. She holds up Held's javelin at some point, and I'm sure he can put two together what that means and just keep crying.
The fact that you even have it is enough of an indication, he knows.
Exactly.
And you just hear the slow, gotcha. And Delmara, you can see that he has a great sword that is ridiculously, nearly his whole body width on the blade. So it essentially is down to, say, his lower calves when he's standing upright. And Delmar, you notice as well, because, well, your perception is ridiculous, and she's ugly crying. His ears are pointed, like, say, Grunt's are quite rounded, but his are pointed. And Grunt, do you do anything, or is this going to be ugly crying till you fall asleep again?
I think eventually I'll ask about if anyone else from the tribe is alive, particularly my other dad, Kutkakt.
He just shakes his head. Just looks. He doesn't make eye contact with you. He just shakes his head.
I, of course, ask this before anyone says, not in words.
Mhm.
But just in typical sign language, as we often do. But beyond that, I'm just going to sort of sob myself to sleep. Mixture of happy and just really sad and happy to have Daddy around.
He leans up against the stone that's next to you and is essentially just watching over you as you sleep.
Yeah,
Seemingly
we can beat the
unbothered by.
We can do the traditional thing of beating the living shit out of each other tomorrow, but today I'm sad.
You have to have your
Aw.
breakfast first.
Exactly.
So, in perceptive of this, you know, I'm right here. So, do I wake up to see just a man?
When you wake
beast?
up in the morning, you see a Goliath that makes Grunt look small. Just right next to her. She's asleep with her head on his lap, essentially, and he just looks over at you, and his eyes aren't, Grunt's eyes are a particular, like, almost stony kind of brown color, but his aren't.
Right.
His just look at you, and they're just like this very bright blue, almost like this kind of sky or sea kind of blue that is just piercing at you.
Hey, I'm gonna go back to sleep now.
You look up, go, alright, and just roll back up.
Alright, it's basically like, right. No, that can't be real. Alright, go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. No,
Yeah.
no, that is real. Oh, my god.
Yep, I went in with some stoner druid and now this happens.
So we'll say by morning time you all do eventually get up. You awake to your own varying capabilities. What do you do? No, don't wait for me for a cue. It's all you guys. Get up. What are you doing?
As is tradition, as is normal for Grunt time, I think it will be straight to breakfast. She'll do the introductions after she's filled herself with food.
I was gonna say, well, I'm going to, you know, take the sunblade out and sharpen it, but I'm like, no, it's not an actual blade. I'm an idiot. I hate this damn thing.
My
Don't hate it.
lightsaber needs sharpening.
Yes.
My lightsaber. Boom, 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 boom.
You never want
When you
sharpening
wake
with
up
my
as
hammers.
well. When you wake up
Maybe
as
it
well.
I need sharpening in the
Um,
skill, you know. Flinging it around me. I'm fucking.
When you guys wake up as well, you wake up to what smells like a mix of honeyed foods, berries, juices, milks, all lined up on a massive table, as Scylla may have gone into his personal reserve, and you may have a hero's feast in front of you.
I shall sit down and begin restringing my sword.
Which you can, funnily enough.
Since we're all doing weird things with our weapons there.
I'll be busy eating like a bear, especially the honey.
Mm-hmm.
I shall not
Sit
eat
down.
any of the honey.
You'll be fine as long as your hand doesn't get too close. You might lose a finger.
That's why I will not be eating the honey.
So, everyone, go ahead and roll 2d10. As you get your hero's feast breakfast, because Scylla don't fuck about with the Forest's sake. He literally will just bust this thing out for you guys. Blue, another d10. There you go.
It sucked.
One for...
I got 10.
one for Neert.
I did shit.
5 more hit points isn't exactly huge percentage-wise, but either way.
Every little helps.
Oh yeah. Especially when you've got resistance to everything, effectively.
Yeah, it means you basically have double health.
I just look at Scylla and I say, this bodes well for the rest of the day.
And he doesn't even like look up from you. We're gonna need it. Where we're going, what I think we're going up against, we're gonna need it. So bear in mind, everyone, you are, if you had any diseases or poisons, you are now cured of them, immune to poison, and being frightened. All wisdom saving throws are made with advantage, and that is a temporary hit points. Oh no, sorry, that is just a straight hit point increase. So it can be healed up as well.
Oh.
But do put it in your temporary hit points, just so that you remember that they're not.
Yeah, I've put it in my
Yeah.
temp.
This lasts
That's what it
for
was.
24 hours.
Mm.
Yeah. He's
So let's
basically
mark off one of Scylla's 6th level spell slots.
Is
Golden.
the not half bad tribe here?
They're there, yeah.
Okay, I get
So-
Mug to shake Mr. Grunt's hand and introduce myself.
I realised he did-
I know exactly what he's doing.
Hello, Mr. Grunt's dad.
Hello, Mr. Grunt.
I realised what's happening, and with honey-soaked hands, I managed to scroll out a very messy note that says this
Nert
this
puts his hands over yours and just looks at you. Of all of us, you're the only one who is adamant to keep sign language. It
I
doesn't
headbutt him.
work amongst others. make an athletics check. Let's do it.
I step away
I
from Mug.
headbutt him.
I'm sitting
Yes,
at the
thank you.
opposite end of the table.
Yeah,
This is
Scoot,
this
scoot,
is
scoot,
basically
scoot,
like this is basically like elbowing your father at the dinner table for them, but
Yeah, this is an athletics check for you.
Oh my god. If only he had raged.
What's funny is I was meant to whisper that to myself. I thought I did. Nah, I didn't. My fault. So,
headbutt him straight in the nose, and that's just
if not for the fact that
Dad,
you're kind
stop,
of a
you're
surprise,
embarrassing me.
he headbutts you back
Yep,
and then looks over. As I was saying,
I smile.
Me and Doe are just at the other end of
We're
the
at the
table, just
opposite end of the table, just like.
like, yeah, alright.
that's like flicking someone in the ear for us.
It's just like gently nudging someone who's next to you, embarrassing you at the table.
I'm like eating half a piece of bread.
Families.
And I suddenly grab his head and smack my forehead into his nose, and then he repeats the process on me.
That's
We're
basically
just
it.
smiling.
Boom. And it doesn't sound like skulls hitting, it sounds like a small thunder clash. It-
Don't understand families.
Ours are different compared to most civilized peoples. So,
Since Daddy says we're
I'm her
willing to do the
father.
introductions, I'll keep shoving my face full of honey.
keep doing that. I'm her father.
Couldn't tell. Couldn't tell at all.
I can see where she gets her.
Mannerisms.
Where did you come from?
Front belches.
Mountains to the west. Mountains that often get marked on human maps of being the land of giants.
Couldn't tell.
Pull out a map.
I'm average
so-
height.
Grunt's actually a bit of a runt.
Is that where the
Consider
name
that.
comes from?
So he's what? How tall is he?
8'5",
Fuck!
400 pounds.
God damn,
He's fucking huge.
he's got like 2 feet on me. Holy shit!
Can I do the rest of the video from down here then?
Yeah, the people who are 6 foot tall are just gonna chill near the ground.
After a moment, would you
As he
realize
says,
the
he's
Absol
a-
would look small next to this guy?
I'm gonna say
As she
I'm
says-
gonna say what I say frequently. Why is everybody in this world so damn tall?
As he said, she's a runt, and this is still just friendly roughhousing for them. She's going to just jump up in the air and just sort of elbow him right in between the neck and the shoulder.
Oh, dear God.
Make another athletics check. Pull this shit off. Disadvantage because you're doing it from sitting.
Oh shit! I've lost my. Wrong button. There we go.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's an elbow in between the back, and it's one of those like dull thuds of. And where you guys are used to seeing Grunt throw someone around with this kind of force, it just kind of moves him like an inch forward.
Right.
Understand?
So,
This is just friendly roughhousing. This isn't actually hurting each other. We just know we can take it.
I fucking love this because it's basically like, so we're from the mountains where it's not called
He's getting the shit kicked out of him while he's talking.
And it's like it's just basically and so this and that, I was like,
you guys watch
right.
the most horrifying sight in the world as he grabs Grunt's ear and just twists it, and Grunt goes like a small kid.
Everybody's laughing.
Hello, Mrs. Johnson.
Hi,
Hi,
Mrs.
Mrs.
Johnson.
Hello.
Howdy.
Put what?
Celery in with the pepper.
No.
Boy.
This is wonderful.
Can I start putting Coke in the mop bucket then?
They're all-
Oh, it's a gem. It's a gem to get
Aw.
Mrs. Johnson.
oh,
So
that's always
sweet.
awesome.
Everybody gets a point of inspiration.
You fucking wish.
Can I put celery in with the peppers? No, you can't. Heresy. I'm going to go and sit down the other end of the table with the more normal height people.
I know, right?
Yeah,
we're,
currently,
we're both still taller than you, but
They're
less
Goliaths. You're a human who's 8 foot tall.
less
6
extremely,
foot.
less extremely so.
Mug's having somewhat of a complex.
He's a half ogre as well, for Christ's sake.
see,
Yeah,
clearly, Dad's being a bit gentle with Grunt. Normally, he would take a fork and staple her ear to the table if she was misbehaving.
Instead, he's done the most horrifying thing you guys ever see. He's just grabbed Grunt by the ear, twisted it, and Grunt goes like a 5-year-old. Like, no.
I'm going to sit by Dal and I'm going to say, is this what family time was like with your family?
No, definitely not. They just take another bite out of the half piece of bread I'm eating.
Meanwhile, these two are eating fucking loaves with handfuls.
Okay, because I'm not used to any sort of family malarkey.
I mean, I'm not
After-
I'm not great with families, but nothing like this.
Do you reckon
After-
Bucky's dad threw him in the fire?
Through the fire and the
I mean-
flames.
Carry on.
Carry on.
If we were at a table, I'd high five you.
After a while, Nert just rubs through Grunt's hair for a moment. Headbutts her against the table. He just rubs her through again. I missed you.
She's just smiling with a big beam.
To be honest, I didn't really have a family either with monastery and all that. So this is also a bit fucking strange.
Okay, good to know.
Zilla pipes
I'm
up
glad
at
we're
this
finding out.
point, looking at you guys. Goliaths are a bit roughhousey.
Buckley,
Nah, not really.
rock, paper, scissors. Sorry, no, what is it?
Boulder Parchment Shears.
Boulder, parchment, shears. Go.
Ready?
That was way off, right? 1, 2, 3, go. I can't see what you did.
Scissors.
1, 2, 3, go. Go. Right, you have to ask him about his mum.
God damn it.
I'm glad after all this time we're finally finding
Mean-
some common ground in that none of us know
Meanwhile-
how to deal with family interactions.
Meanwhile, Grunt writes a note saying how much he missed her dad and shows a picture of a young Grunt getting curb stomped by a father.
Not getting curb stomped. Maybe getting kicked up the hole, but not getting curb stomped.
Hey, it was
Gears
practice.
4 looks really good.
Of course, she draws another picture of her then grabbing his leg and then just kicking him in the crotch.
That was her first real kick.
You must be very proud.
Not really. I've been a slave for the last 10 years.
Sorry.
I haven't met with her for 10 years. She's been a slave. And now she's not. Now she's free again. Much to my surprise, and I'm glad Scylla sent me a message.
Oh, you two know each other.
Oh, nice.
That's nice.
He lifts up his palm, and there's a crescent design, like a crescent moon on it. And as he does, Scylla holds back his own hand, which is currently covered with a glove. We know each other.
So,
Did you stand up one day and block out the sun?
I like this one.
Most
oh my god.
don't actually.
So, just because you do talk, unlike Grunt.
Yeah,
Apparently,
Grunt
says
Grunt sort of rolls her eyes and does the sort of almost duck motion with her hand, as if, yeah, Dad's a real chatterbox.
There's been the biggest flick on the nose you guys ever seen. It's probably
You
breaks.
hear a
someone
visible
else's nose.
cracking noise.
Does she start miming crawling in my skin?
That would be so hard to do. We're not even going to let him consider doing it. Continue, Heroin.
so. Grunt says apparently the way that children are made in your tribe are different than the normal ways. Basically, there's a birth giver and whatnot.
Breath giver, breath taker.
Yeah.
That's right.
Grunt is a druid as in science, breath giver, as an example.
Right. Okay.
And no, we're not going to continue this conversation.
Yeah. No. That's fine. I just wanted to be sure. Confirm. Okay,
Grunt signs
right,
quickly to her father. They're gross. They actually breed with each other. Weird.
He just laughs. That's all he does is laugh. When your kid tries to teach you about sex. And it's a slap in the back of the chest that kind of makes Grunt spit up whatever she's eating. Currently gets out the mouth.
He responds with a kidney shot.
Low blow.
And so, where's Grunt's mother or other father? I guess.
He's dead.
I go under the table.
Jesus Christ.
I kick him.
Oh,
Grunt's
there's
all
that
upset.
bone I was looking for.
In this
In my ribs.
vegetable-based hero's feast.
Grunt's like this bone and starts lifting up the table. I assume somebody tells her not to before she actually tips the whole thing over.
Yeah,
Probably,
Nerd
yeah.
has his hand on your shoulder and looks you dead in the eye, Buckley. He's dead.
Sorry.
10 years ago when the rest got wiped out.
Right. Okay.
Left me for dead, hanging from a cross. Captured my daughter.
Ooh.
Just points out towards what will be essentially north of you, which is this town.
I think we know who.
Well, okay.
Grunt writes on a
There.
piece of paper that she's on a revenge quest.
Good. Their frozen mistress killed a lot of us.
Yes, we've.
But
heard
Scylla
that.
said you needed help. Said that my daughter was here, and that was pretty much the deal maker. So I'm going to help you kill things. And then I believe Scylla mentioned something about visiting the slaver town.
Yes.
I slowly turn and look at Scylla, and I'm just like, "You waited this long to tell him?"
To my credit, I had just gotten out of being imprisoned myself. They then had to go and save your fucking town.
Yeah, there was at least a week gap between there and there.
What
At
do you think I
least.
did?
Second
He
class
didn't
post, I
immediately
suppose.
show up. It's not like he Abraca fucked up. He's been here for 3 days.
I can never tell with you fucking people.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Everybody! Everybody can do weird shit, okay?
I mean, mainly magic users.
He's more of a physical lad, so he couldn't really get here quickly.
Oh, I
There's a
thought his
little
arms
girl
was
that
filled
can
with
literally
wands.
blend in the shadows.
Exactly, I said everybody can do weird shit.
He's got some tricks, but they're not normal magic.
I don't know, I think a lot of people would think the ability to decapitate someone and simultaneously launch their body about 300 feet away, quite a magical feat.
Yeah, you got something there, Spook?
Put that down, Spook.
Grant just puts a hand up and puts in a note that says, as long as he's alive, that's all that matters.
He can speak, he's just choosing not to. It was the old way, we were meant to protect our own language and custom by not talking in front of normal people, so I imagine 10 years of defiance might have instilled this in her slightly.
She
Right.
signs wasting false breath. And just sticks out a tongue at him.
Trust me, we've had this conversation.
He
Quite
looks
good
at
with
her-
languages.
he
What
looks at her
language
dead
do
in
you
the
speak?
eye.
Yeah, do you have your own language?
Yes. Same language giants use.
I don't speak that.
Uh,
Speak
And he
Dwarf.
looks over her, looks at that note, and just crumples it up and throws it away. Our culture's dead. You're the soul's left, and I'm the soul's left. Let it die, move on. Just parts his eyes from her, doesn't even give her a chance to respond, just looks over towards Scylla. So,
She just sort of rolls her eyes and huffs as the little girl she is.
yeah. That awkward moment
Apparently
we
with Dad
realized. Yeah, she's starting to act like a kid, which is
Very
scary.
surreal. But Dell's
toddler with a
Dell's
great
just
axe
glad
is a
she's not
terrifying
having
thought.
food shoved in her face.
Yeah, you're on the other side of the table.
Elmara becomes her doll at the table.
Just let me enjoy my half slice of bread in peace.
Don't worry, when Grant has had her fill, don't let her realise what's happening.
I would like to use my wild nature to blend into the foliage.
I'm assuming that's why you haven't been force-fed yet. I assume you're already stealth.
It's just like
I
wah, wah,
blend
wah, wah.
into the trees and
I am
vanish.
camouflaged as the rocket salad.
Just like
You
piles
might
up
run
all
into
the
this-
waste bits and just hides under it, and just like every now and again you just hear a crunching sound.
It says Mask of the Wild, only lightly obscured by foliage, so I'm calling this foliage and I hold up a stick and leave.
I'm gonna make like a
Leaf
tree.
or
You hold up the salad bowl. That's foliage.
Scylla gets annoyed, his salad ball's flying away. Guys, for your 3 stooges, roll your 2d10s for each of them and add them to their 10 hit points.
What's the
Afir,
limit? What's the
Jonathan,
limit for
Mugmug.
a hero's feast?
Oh yeah, Mug.
Oh yeah, just a sec.
Because without the trio, we're on 7, and I feel like the
12.
Okay. We're fine
Who's
then.
that for? Declare who they're for.
Mug.
Mug?
I'm
Okay.
calling Mug. That's the
Okay.
other one.
Put that in his 10 hit points so you can remember it.
Blue, do you want to do Jonathan's?
Sure.
And Buckley had Othir, didn't they? Because you're both
hmm
Yeah. Please, TP, or
delusional
Holy people.
clerics. That's the one.
Hey man,
Alright,
he
holy-
fucking
holy
saved your
people,
ass
holy
more
people.
times.
I think it's debatable at this point who saved me the most, because there's enough contenders.
To be fair, he's first.
Define saving.
I mean, I've saved the whole party a few times.
By killing everything else.
That's very true.
That's why I said define saving.
I am the best support. I support my team by killing everything for them.
Exactly.
now, question is, do I want to do a legend lore on something?
You can certainly try.
I want to start coming up with a plan for how we're going to attack this tomb, because now We have a siege unit, which changes things.
It's a bit rude. He has a name.
As you're saying this, still looks at you. Goes, yeah, that whole siege thing, that's great and all, but you still got my forest's problems first. The things I said you'll help me with, and then I'll help you by fortifying your little new grove.
I knew there was something I was missing.
There you go. That was a very long night's sleep for you, lad.
Forgive him if his memory's foggy. He recently almost had his head removed.
There's a lot of good stuff in here that people want to get to.
No comment.
Grant is starting to finish her food, which means Dell's going to start getting in trouble, so we might want to carry on. with
I'm
the
just
recipe
gonna,
along.
scoot to the very end.
Somewhat being, obscured by Scylla's mass. And, Dell, you are now essentially next to him at the table. As he opens his palm, moving for food or such, his gloves do have, a space at the center of the palm. You see he's got a crescent design in it as well. His is more like a bear paw. But when Nert opened his, it had the design as well of a wolf. So, alright. Scylla begins speaking up. There's a particular grove, it's one of the furthest out ones, glaive, whatever you want to call, that's being twisted and mutated right now. I think it's where most of the infested creatures are, and even this thing being there is causing a spawning of lesser demonic entities, fiendish creatures. It needs to be taken out and quick.
Do you know exactly where they are?
I know where the grove is, and where that grove is probably a lot less trees now, so it's going to be easy enough to spot them eventually. No matter what else happens, I need someone to stay back here to protect the heart. Because if they get here, that's it. They killed it.
John.
They're both that either shoulder of you. Yeah.
You're on guerrilla tactics duty.
They both look at each other. Okay, I got it. What does that mean? I don't know.
Well, Jonathan doesn't know. He's the
As
smartest
Jonathan starts
person
thinking,
here.
and Mugmug starts walking around on all fours again.
He's half looking at him
My
going,
sense of
will I
cinch.
turn into a giant ape, or...
Hey, no monkeying around. This is serious.
They both glare at you.
I'm going to do something now which I've never done before, and which may surprise some people.
Cast a
Makes
spell.
sense.
I've cast spells. I'm going to use my primeval awareness.
Oh!
Ah.
Yeah, it's not like the old primeval awareness. This is the new one.
Right.
You have the innate ability to
Yep.
Big words. Big words.
communicate with beasts.
That was a challenge!
Big words. Big words.
Communicate!
Decade.
And they recognize you as kindred spirit. So I'm going to try and flag down some sort of flying creature and not shoot it.
As you try to call for the nearest flying creature of some variant, there's a bird that is actually on Scylla's hands having a conversation with him that just looks at you.
I didn't want to be rude.
Looks at you. Like a little sparrow.
I mimic it for a bit, and then I start speaking in simple Aarakocran, I suppose, then.
No, it is the speak of beasts. It's not
Yeah.
a particular language, so people can't choose and be like,
Yeah, they don't have a language for themselves.
Nah.
Beast
I'm
speech.
going to ask it to do a circle of the forest and let me know if and where it sees them specifically.
It looks at Scylla for a moment, who just winks at it, and it flies off.
Because I'm pretty sure Solo just asked the same damn thing.
And then I'm going to ready my bow and be like,
And wait for
So
bird
for
to
the
come
next
back.
hour or so, and Alistair Dartwood is just going, Just slightly reclining more and more in the chair.
Grunt's gonna ask her father if he's gonna join them in the hunt. Everything's a hunt.
I'm staying here. Wait, hang on. Wrong one. Wrong muscle-bound big guy.
As he goes through his repertoire of muscle meatheads. It's like he's looking at his own Blood Bowl team.
Yes,
see.
actually, it is one of my Blood Bowl teams.
Yes.
Karad, Harshnag,
Mr. Mountain.
Baron. Nope, there he is. I'm staying here.
Grunt nods and wishes him the best of luck. She gives him a kiss on the cheek and a punch in the stomach.
You get a punch that almost feels like... For everyone else, it's weird because it's like stone hitting stone, but she gets a clock in the jaw, and you swear for a second her jaw dislocates before relocating, and it's one of those hits that you mostly hear and you go, ooh.
You
You
see
feel the vibrations.
You see a tooth fly onto the table, and she gives a big smile with the missing teeth, and then she realizes it's missing, so she grabs it and just shoves it back in her gum.
Yep. And it sticks back in.
Yep. Oh, good.
Must remember to tell Mug not to fall head over heels for Grunt.
Too late.
The hospital bills would be...
He
Yeah,
would.
'cause I will be charging you every injury I have to heal.
I'm going to have to
There's no-
nickname Buckley. To
Hang on
Boop.
there. You're not Patters. You can't do that. I'll do this for you, which I meant to do for a fee.
Actually, I'm a
Why his
forged
god
domain
lost his
cleric.
powers in him.
Grunt has finished eating, and she's starting to look around for Dell.
I scurry up a tree.
You're still
As you
dialing.
scurry up, which tree do you scurry up?
Where's
This
the
tree's
table?
like, say,
I'm guessing the
trees-
table is here.
Table's about here, yeah. So like this tree's here even, or here, or
Yeah, I'm gonna go up this tree
okay.
with half a
I-
piece of bread sticking out my mouth, just like.
Of course.
As you do, you're like sitting up in the tree for a minute. You're like, okay, she can't see me, and you put your hand over towards the tree, and you feel like a weird movement. And you look over, and you just like got your hand smudged up against the tree in its face.
Sorry.
It has this big happy smile on it, like it's totally chill.
Why do I
Gives
feel
you a
this tree?
wink.
Yeah,
Gives
why
you,
do I
like,
feel
a
this
wink.
tree as high as a kite?
Yeah.
How high up she is? Well, yeah. It's like a redwood.
Hey, oaf girl. How you
Hey,
climb,
baby.
climb pretty high.
Hey, no, you can't speak.
Healer.
I can't speak plant.
No, she can't, which is why this doesn't work. Otherwise, this would be fucking hilarious.
No, it would just be he's just talking to himself, just like, "Hey, tree girl, how you doing?"
Except it doesn't. It just you go shh, and it just winks at you.
Grunt starts calling out something in Giant, and to remind people, she's always been able to say people's names, and she's calling out the word Little Hawk in Giant, which is what she calls Dell.
So you guys just hear just because it's a very low, deep, guttural kind of sound, gravelly, with very few syllables. So like each word is very, very small.
I think
Right,
Grunt's
yes.
got a hairball or a fur ball.
Great. You got some
Or a
rocks stuck in your throat?
Stone ball.
Yeah, stone ball.
I'm Stone Ball Stonejaw.
She writes a note and says, "Has anyone seen Little Hawk?" And she writes Dell underneath.
No.
The answer is
She's
no.
probably on a nearby rooftop.
Still looks
Jennifer
over at his
is.
hut in the corner. Because there's a hut in this map over there, guys. Over in the west side. West side.
Proceed.
Oh yeah,
It's a little hut.
oh yeah, I see it.
He's not that much of a hippie.
Grunt's
He has
gonna-
commonplace.
Das, what's the largest single piece of food on the table?
Probably some sort of fruit.
There's no like massive turnip or anything, or like, is there a watermelon or a pumpkin?
No, not a pumpkin, not a watermelon, not turnip either.
Pomegranate.
Stop shouting fruits at me. Like just a big apple.
Well, that's no good. I'll have to grab a whole bunch of them. I'm gonna go start sniffing around for Dell.
I'm just like clinging to this branch, just like.
She's like waving a broom at you, like get down.
Okay, so
I wouldn't hiss. She'll start climbing up there.
I'm gonna stop Grunt and take the food away from her and just start cutting it up into little bits.
Into mouth-sized pieces.
Okay, so we'll say this insanity continues.
Nobody knows where I am.
Yeah, you guys are just doing this looking for her.
Grunt realizes this is such a good idea, so she literally starts
them in
atomizing the
half.
apples by just squishing them onto the table.
The apples are now wasted, destroyed.
They're just paste now.
I
Hey,
one
it's,
of the
uh,
apples that didn't get taken. I'm like, fucking Jesus.
Apple paste, it's good eating. They give it to babies all the time.
Also, I was reading through legend lore, and it says, if the thing you named isn't of legendary importance, you gain no information. So if you ain't legendary, we don't care.
We don't care. We don't care about that.
Now Grunt's looking for you with a big scoop of apple, just mush.
At one point, you do hear your father shout out, Herbie,
Mhm.
Eve, Herbie.
She signs, but she doesn't eat. She's so tiny.
She's a different species to you. She doesn't need to eat as much as you.
To be
Okay.
fair, though,
A
she
dog.
doesn't eat a lot to begin with, even for her standards.
Yes,
Yes,
you-
but I
points
know
you
my
don't-
daughter.
Points at the third biggest person here. And says, see, he gets it.
I mean, it is
Four.
true. Even by elf standard, she doesn't eat a lot.
Actually, no, he's the fifth biggest person here because there's also Mug and Zilla. They're the big
So,
bastard.
one, so
My point being, she points at another one of the giants saying, see, he understands.
Okay, then. Well, the problem is my daughter has the machinations of a blunt hammer, it seems. Well, a dull hammer, I should say.
She smiles as if that was a compliment.
Wasn't a compliment. So Scylla watching this looks, okay, back to the fact that my forest is currently being destroyed and corrupted.
Yes.
And as he does, comes in the little flying bird. And lands in next to Scylla and just tweets for a few minutes, and he just whistles back using mostly just like the top part of his throat. You can just see how comes the... I cannot mimic it, so I'm not going to pretend I can.
Do you want to share it with a hashtag for us?
I make a Twitter account called Scylla's Bird, and it's just a sparrow icon, and every now and again it's like, shit's going down.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, was the sparrow actually like using its wings and pointing like, oh yeah, so it's that way?
No, it's just speaking to him. He's
No.
speaking. And he's nodding and listening. Okay, so, like I said, it's in the corrupted glade, and the bird confirmed it. What I said it would be.
I was hoping for somewhere more specific.
Okay, it's not
Like
the
the
largest
tree from the-
area. Not the largest area, but we'll be able to find it. So, we're gonna go looking for this. Nert's gonna stay back, and he's gonna make sure that the heart is not corrupted. And he's also got that, and he points over to... And now you can actually see on Nert's belt, he's stood up away from the table as it magically disappeared because, well, magic spell, gone now. He has a war horn that is built to match his size in regards to how large it is and like say how difficult it would be to hold. It would take two people and all hands to hold, and someone with a hell of a lung to actually out of it. So he's got a way of making sure that anything in this forest will bloody hear if that thing gets sounded.
Grunt pulls out a giant hook and shield, and she's ready to go. She's hungry, and not for food.
Then.
Oh, also, I'd like to check the the shield for any damage.
Your shield? Or
Yeah.
her shield?
Her shield.
My bone dragon shield, it shouldn't be damaged. Pretty hardy stuff.
Well, there could be chances.
Oh yeah, that could be next. I don't know.
It's more like a pox marking almost, just from the acidic damage that it had suffered at the hands of the monsters.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got it from a green dragon, which means it's completely immune to poison. As an inanimate object, that doesn't really help it much.
Nope. but acid can poxmark it, which it
Oh, yeah.
has. It has slightly around, say, I do believe it is one of the breastplate that you used of it, and it's more like say the center point of it, like that tips, the tips of that all the way down, like that slit almost is starting to erode. When it's a big fucking shield, like it's gonna take a while for this to break down, and even then you can use the parts as a shield.
Yep, it's a cobbled together sternum of a dragon. It's pretty big.
Okay, so Scylla looks to all of you. Alright. Let's move and we can plan as we go. And he just motions to all of you to follow him. And as he's walking with you guys, he walks to the western side, which is not actually the western side on the map. The what would be our right is north. So he essentially takes you upwards, up the map. And as he does, like so there's heavy shrubbery, he begins walking towards it, just parts, and you will follow him through.
Yep,
And you
Grant
guys
takes the
travel.
lead. Well, right behind him.
Yeah, I was about to say like he would give you the hardest slap.
As if Grunt would notice.
No, she'd fucking notice off of him.
Oh, well, there you go.
He moves ahead of you guys, like say 10 to 15 paces, and turns a corner ahead of you guys again. And after a while, you look and you can't actually see him, but you just hear a. As you now see the largest mass of fur you've ever seen. This enormous brown, almost like a ursine creature. It's got this massive kind of a runic design. It's almost like a thunderbolt on its shoulders. And on the fronts of the paws, you see the crescent moon and a bear. And looks to all of you. No, it's on all four legs. Incredibly muscular, almost like it is almost like it could be bipedal, but its legs are long enough to match its back legs. And it is just a healthy bear in the fact that it's a big, fat bear.
Yeah.
But also, there is very indication that this is a tough, like strong-looking creature, as it's just even moving through the shrubbery, trees are just breaking or being pushed out of its way as it goes, and it's looking at all of you. As you all follow it.
Yep.
Alright.
And you guys want to try and strategize as you go?
Do we see anything yet? Or
Not yet, no, but do you try to strategize as you're moving?
Grunt plans to kill things.
leave
I have a
the
strategy. Move north, kill everything wearing black that isn't Dell.
well, I need to be sure that I can take on the main creature.
I mean,
That way
we're
its
not
blood
100% sure what's there. We just know that horrible stuff is there.
Well, we do know something is corrupting the land, possibly through its blood. So, the main creature I will need to take on.
Yeah.
Are we trying to sneak?
We could do a preliminary sneak as we get closer. Do a bit of a recce and then report back what we find.
As you guys are like, as someone mentions sneaking, the bear's ear twitches, and a rune on its right shoulder like flares up, and as it does, you all feel this energy mark through you. You are all now affected by Pass Without a Trace.
Ooh.
Nice.
Feel like this bear's sort of step toes of my job.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, if I see the bear start to skulk a bit, I'm going to skulk as well.
It's weird for a creature of its size. Bear in mind, it is maybe 20 feet tall. Like it is just like on its like all fours. It's almost like 15 foot up. Looks like it could go again if it like actually rose onto its hind legs. It is huge, but at the same time, it's not breaking trees. It's quiet in its movements. Each step is like it's padded heavily by its paws, and it's just silently moving forward. It's almost like being the master of this forest has its fucking benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grunt isn't particularly good at it, but she will stealth. She's not a stranger to the hunt.
Okay. As you guys are all moving and talking, give me stealth checks.
What kind of pace are we moving at? Just like a standard.
You're all moving at a standard pace.
Okay.
So, would I have just a normal straight roll? Since I'm wearing plate?
Yeah. You have a
Oh, that's not me.
Wow.
That's Jonathan because the modifier
I
is
was
1.
about to say. I was like, what?
And,
Oh,
and
yeah,
me
very good
flying with my
Don't
boots
panic.
wouldn't-
My modifier isn't 1.
me flying with my boots wouldn't give me any.
No, because you're still hitting off things as you go.
Right.
This
Like
is a very dense
the roll
forest.
-12.
Shit.
This is Mug.
Yep.
Who did
So I
much better than
think
Grunt.
I think the lowest we have is a 16 right
This
now.
is for Othir. who
You'll be making
also
this
does
with
that.
the straight roll.
Fuck me and Othir. Man.
No, he's doing his job. It's like he's not good at it, but hey, that's a 19. That's still pretty good.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
So-
it's +10. I forgot about that, yeah.
By the way, I nearly forgot. As you mentioned, blood being spilled is a bad thing. She puts a hook on her back and brings out the warhammer.
Cool. So at this point, as you guys are moving, the further you move into the forest up at this point, birds and other fauna, you hear less and less until there's nothing. And at this point, you're noticing a lot of the trees are blackened or dying. A lot of foliage on the ground, a lot of compost that's almost like it's in the very far states of rot. And it's more like a swamp almost in how, because you can tell there's earth underneath. The way the water and the moisture has not sank into the earth, it's just fetid. The smell starts getting quite bad. And about, we'll say you're on your, close to your hour and a half mark. You do come across a very small clearing, and in that small clearing you see a unicorn. Dead.
Ooh.
There isn't a drop of its blood on the ground. It is shriveled, like it has been entirely drained.
Grunt looks visibly upset about that. In the angry way, of course.
I suppose the only way you can talk to it is the buckler.
It is a creature that I think Speak with Dead only works on humanoids.
That's why I'm asking him.
You grant the semblance of life and intelligence to a corpse of your choice within range.
A corpse, so you could.
Is it 10 feet from me?
You can walk to 10 feet to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay right here for now.
Scylla moves up
also-
towards you as you're having this conversation. He moves up towards it,
Does
nudges
look
it
like
with
it's
its.
been dead for 10 days?
You can't. Everything here looks like it's rotted quite badly. You can't tell how long things have been here. Like, at this moment, say, a leaf would fall. And it's already like a leaf that looks like it's in autumn. It just rots as it falls. Just is already fetid, almost, by the time it hits the ground. Okay. Alistair and Buckley, and whoever is controlling Jonathan may also make this check. Give me a nature check.
John's not here.
Jonathan? No? Did you
No,
not have the
Jonathan.
characters come with us?
He left Jonathan and
They're
Buck
watching the
say-
heart.
Okay, did you leave Althea as well?
I don't tell Althea what to do.
Okay, I'll
So
say
wait,
for
you
the sake of my own ease of controlling the characters that it's only you guys here then. So
Okay.
you can ignore the rolls that you made for them. So Alistair, that's right. Okay, Buckley.
Bade.
Alistair, it's not something you've studied much, but you were always interested a bit in the elven side, the fey creatures, and you have studied and tried to read up a bit. You are aware that unicorns, areas that these creatures live in, tend to be quite lively, energetic, almost like it is a very touch of the Feywild itself on the material plane. You look around, and it is just, but this small area has a small, it's maybe about, let's say, 20 foot on a diameter area, and there's a small water source. There are small plants and trees, and there's almost a fairy fort of rings, circle of stones in it. You are aware that creatures like this, they have magical effects on the areas, but most of them are gone as soon as the creature dies, or quite soon after. So, because this is my world and I decide it, there is still anyone, if you had any sort of torches, it would be extinguished, being in here. And all you who are of a good alignment feel like this is a safe place, but it's like the feeling of coming home, but it's home that does not have warmth in it. It's like it's being drained of that. You tend to think, Alistair, that this would imply that this creature is not dead for a long period of time, but looking at it, like, you don't even need to make a check, it looks like it's been dead for weeks. Like, it's probably only dead a day or two. It looks like it's dead weeks. It's the same kind of malignance that almost lingered over the Duskhaven swamp.
Okay. So, been dead for a day. No real indication of whether it's near or far. Can I have a check nearby to see if there's like any tracks leading, like, obviously
Sure,
in the obvious
that's
direction?
a survival check. You also would have had to get close to the creature to see this. And at this point, Scylla changes back from his form to his elven form. And he's very obviously grief-stricken. And he's just running his hand through the creature's mane. If you have anything you want to do it quickly before I send this poor soul to rest in the Feywild.
I'll go ahead and cast Speak with Dead.
Go ahead. Be respectful.
Of course.
And he says that with a very obvious venom.
Yeah.
Okay, so you perform Speak with Dead. And in that moment, its lungs fill up. Waiting.
What was the creature that did this to you?
She just breathes out. I know not what it was. A monster. Like, the spirit, the very soul itself is weakened and scarred. It's not even like it's the full soul's energy there. A monster. Drank my blood. That's one question.
When was the creature last here?
Less than a day.
You guys have any questions?
You only have 2 more questions, correct? Or, you got 3 more questions, excuse me.
Yeah, 3 more.
Was there
How
more
many
than
were
one? Yeah.
Only one of it But it had monstrous followers. They surrounded me. My glade could not protect me. And Alistair, as it speaks, you can look over and you can see it's almost like there's a small fairy fort, like a ring of stones in this area, but there's also now you can see the outskirts are surrounded by stones as well that all seem like there's a runic design to them. Very Gaelic stylizations, very elven almost. But there's one point you can see quite clearly where it's just a break. And there's just this corruption. Not to say like your creature you encounter where it's a footfall. Here it's almost like a wide spread. I couldn't stop it. It did not kill me at first. Bit me. Drained my blood. Tried to fight. But I was powerless. I'm sorry.
Two more questions.
What abilities did it possess?
It struck me with its hand. A mutated claw. A single long, dreaded finger. As it sliced me, I felt my skin flesh away. It struck again, but I avoided it, and even then, just touching my skin caused it to rot. But you can now see quite clearly, looking at it as the descriptions, there's what would be a perfect cut if then it was burnt and it just burnt all around the neck, but it just rotted back. Very clear guttural, like strike at the center, like the base of where the neck meets the torso, right there. And there's also, say, not even like, it's almost like a bruise, but it's just this like spreading out of it, like a patch of dead skin. That's just like far heavily deteriorated compared to the rest. So is that 4 questions?
Yeah, it's 4.
One more?
The only thing I can think of is to ask what it looks like specifically, but I mean, if anyone else has got anything better.
No, that would be fine.
You asked that?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Ooh, did it say anything?
Which would you like to ask then of the 2 questions?
Because I'm thinking if it said something, might be able to get more from it. I'm pretty sure we're going to know what it looks like soon enough.
That's true. We'll go with, I'd say that one. Did it say anything?
Yeah, if it said anything.
Spoke in a dark tongue. Made my ears bleed. It laughed, even as it fed. I don't know where my soul will go. And at that point, the air breathes out, and Scylla puts a hand over it. In that moment, its body begins to just slowly fade, as if it's just moving from one to another. At peace, child of the wild. Peace. And he looks to the symbol on his hand, which is just flared up.
I draw my bow out.
Just
Draw
like
the blade.
he's basically just right now clenching his fists, closed and open. It's not here, not immediately here. But I have a duty to tear the thing apart, even if it ruins me.
I'm going to communicate with Daldir. And I'm just going to ask him, do you know anything about the passage between this world and the next?
How so? Like, what way are you asking this question? As in passage from life to death, or from this world to a different plane?
Life to death. Is there any way of, like, guiding its spirit somewhere? Or is it out of our hands at this point?
There are some clerics There are some deities, there are some creatures beyond the mortal realm, the mortal veil, that do shepherd lost spirits. There is the Promise Keeper himself. He who promised to ensure that everything shall reach a full cycle at some point. He is far beyond us to ever request. Scylla sending that thing, that poor soul, the Feywild. Spirits will look for it. They will sense that there is something scarred, damaged, wrong. Even if the soul can never be the same, it can be tended to in its lingering moments on that body. That body will then be destroyed. It is a sin of the highest order to drink a unicorn's blood. It grants great power, but at a great price. That creature does not live a life as you or I. You, I should say. It's making dark bargains. Whatever this thing is, I've never sensed an evil of its ilk. It is an old and dark thing. Whatever fools are allowing these corruptions into the world must be stopped. And quickly. Once this creature is dealt with, I advise heavily that we go to this stone. We end that threat.
Would I be able to make a religion check on infernal beings of its caliber?
Of this creature's caliber, based on the description of it slightly that you got, I'd say you can make a religion check with disadvantage because of how it's not exactly very specific, as there are many creatures that have claws, that have mutilations of this kind of ilk, and that do speak a dark, evil tongue. Where's my notebook? Unfortunately not, no.
Yeah.
It's a very specific thing.
Okay.
Scylla looks to all of you, and his form changes again, back to that massive bear form.
Did I pick up on any nearby tracks with a 17?
Oh, this creature's tracks are not hard to spot. Definitely not for you, at the very least. You can tell they lead somewhere out to the western side of the forest, and you can tell from where you are that the corruption just gets worse and worse further out it goes.
Head that way then.
But Narrowin, do give me a. I'll let you do another religion check. This time, just a straight roll. This is for something relating to it.
18.
Much better. The hallmarks of everything that's been described as of so far leads you to believe that this isn't a creature of, like, say, certain devils and demons and monsters like that, like demon princes, tend to have, or gods even, tend to have creatures that hallmark things of them, aspects or elements of them. This is definitely giving you some hallmarks, especially after what you learned previously. This is something of a Peronis, the god of decay. The dead god, one of the dead gods.
Yeah, we've heard about him before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the enduring, the everlasting, the dead, who was slain by a goddess's holy blood, burning him to death. Fucking took some killing, that did. So it changes back to his massive form and motions you all to follow him again, and you will travel again for another 10-15 minutes. And you go to what looks like more of a clearing up ahead, but all around you is dead trees, decaying life. Creatures look mutated and malformed. Even your own vision begins to be slightly warped here, but just some magical endurance in you all, because of a hero's feast, is pushing you onward. Scylla deliberately. It's his fucking forest. He's going to make sure you guys are ready to help defend it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And he stops and leans up on his hind legs, looking out, looking over treetops. And just back down, looks to you all, and just snarls and looks ahead. And that's where we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
Dang. Here we are, we're back.
Welcome back, everyone. The party is currently investigating Old Fortune's spreading corruption issue after just finding the ruined remains of a unicorn that had its blood drained and was terribly damaged. So much so that with Speak's dead spell, it spoke of its soul being scarred. So you're all in this area now that I do believe you can see. I'm actually just going to hide down here because you guys don't get bit too much of an area. Sure, I'll turn on Fog of War and then I'll just reveal the area up here for you
And
guys.
now we can see F-all.
Do that. I'll do that because I'm just going to use the top side of this map. I wasn't sure how much of it I was going to use.
Wow,
Oh.
when we don't have any of our followers with us, the party looks so small.
Yep. He looks out into the wood, as does Scylla, glaring and gleaming, as if he's got a whiff of something, but he can't quite spot it. What would you guys like to do?
I would like to stealth.
Okay, make a stealth check. This will be with plus 10.
Have we stopped moving at this point?
Yes.
Then that's with advantage as well. $32.
Nice. Nice. Well, okay. Anything else anyone wants to do?
No, that's not really going to help us. So I'm going to take into the tree line any tree that's nearby.
This tree's currently about 10-15 feet, just we'll say north of you, which you could clamber up. It's a younger tree, maybe about only 10 or so years old, but it's strong enough to support you.
Okay.
Maybe got about
have a look around.
You probably got about 10-15 feet worth of viewage from up there, so you're about 15 feet up, we'll say.
Out of character real quick. How many attunements do you have, Spook?
Sorry?
How many attunements do you have?
Attunements?
Attunements.
I genuinely don't know.
You have the bow.
I got the bow. My armor's not attuned though, is it?
No, it's not magical.
I
Aside from that, I don't think you have much.
don't really have much in the way of magical items. I think I've only got the one. Oh, I've got the magical kite. No, the kite shield wouldn't be.
No.
Okay,
Usually
very,
it's
very
just
quick
basic.
rewind then before he goes up into the tree and I hide away.
Okay, you've had loads of time on
yeah.
the travel, so I say you could definitely do this.
I take off one of my flaming swords and I say this. I know this isn't as good as yours, but if we want to stop this thing bleeding, this will cauterize any slashes you do to it.
Oh.
It does require attunement. I have
Okay.
I have two. I've not been using one properly because I have my ring and my cloak.
Okay. It's in the sheath, and you've seen her use it enough times. She can demonstrate as well that it's basically like a lighter that you just roll as you pull, and it ignites it.
Has an ignition in the handle.
Okay, just be careful using them around here. Forest's been destroyed enough as it is.
I know. But
Give me a perception check then, Alistair, from way up. From where you are, I'll say you'll have advantage. Let me just do a check. Not high enough. You peer out into the wood, and it's weird. Maybe say, what'll be a good guesstimate for you? Say about 60, 70 feet towards the left-hand side of the map. It's weird. There's a group of shrubbery and a dead, fallen over tree and it's almost like the forms of them, like the actual surfaces, are changing, like constantly, weirdly moving and changing, like they're almost like they're solid but running water, as if water was running over a muddy stone almost, and it's just constantly changing and shifting. And as it does, you see producing out from, like, say, one of the small shrubberies, you can see just a mass of what looks like almost like a large amount of tree or foliage that has just been clumped up together, and you can see a skull. And then you see 2, 3, and it's like almost a network of skulls on top of this large branchwork that just moves slightly further into the north part of the shrubbery. To give you an idea, somewhere around here, where you saw it, somewhere closer to here, moving inward.
I'm gonna indicate to the party members that I can see and just get them to look over, and then hopefully move alongside.
With that check as well, you do these things are stealthy. You do see other movement. You see maybe 4 other sources of movement. Some are more like little skittering around, and one you can hear is this somewhere further again. You heard no sound really from over here because this area's noise was a bit deafening more to you, but you do see something that's quite clearly moving trees over in that area.
Okay, the trees aren't close enough for me to move from one to another, are they?
Not over to that area. No, there is gaps in the forest, in the shrubbery.
Okay. I'll come down from the tree then. I'm going to start heading as quietly as I can over in this direction.
Okay, make a stealth.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Also, guys, as much as he may try, Scylla is basically on, like, as you step away from the shrubbery as well, Alistair, all you can just see is just 2 massive yellow eyes piercing out from your side towards it. So that's where Scylla is.
Blue, there's something behind you.
I think that was probably my dad.
Or a cat.
No, it was a person.
Okay. That was a very good check. You move through, and something you're now noticing as you're like stealth moving across. So move your way up. Like there's almost an energy, almost like a sparkle, like dust in the air. It's just lingering all around the entire area, really, from the clearing onward. And closer to Scylla's side, it's almost like a brighter fairy fire, like an energy sort of. But on the far side, it's like almost like rotted spores.
Okay, I'm gonna cover my mouth as I move forward. Then I'm gonna try and get up into this tree over here.
Okay. I'd say because you're pretty good at it, it's not going to take too much of it. But make a check. DC will probably be pretty low.
I'm gonna sort of
athletics check.
I'm gonna stealth in the shadows up this way.
Okay, so your first attempt to climb up, it seems like this tree, the part you grabbed is almost like slough, like clay where you expected bark. Your hand slips and you fall back down. You can definitely try again, avoiding that spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna move. I'll move further around to like the back end of the tree. Bit better.
That's enough. It's not difficult for you, he says when he rolls a natural one. You pull yourself up.
My boots off.
And as you pull yourself up, the entire tree as well, like there was a creak to it almost. Like as you're pulling yourself up, if it is still solid enough to support your weight, but you can just, like, as you're moving and you're hitting off of it, you can almost hear like this almost like a hollow point beginning to build on the inside.
So it's
like
spreading.
It's rotting outward almost from the core out.
I'm going to make sure not to go too high up then, just in case this thing does eventually give.
Okay.
And I'll shimmy my way around to just have another look out over the area, see if I see any more movement.
Okay, make a perception check again. Nothing new, but from your position, you can see, like, you focus in on that loud sounds again, and you just see, like, this massive hunched shoulder, like, just breaking a tree line almost at some point, and this, like, kind of hunched down head, just, like, lumbering around, some sort of corrupted creature, like a large bipedal creature, pinked, kind of fetid, or, like, poxmarked skin.
Whereabouts do I see it, roughly?
Roughly about this area, we'll say.
Okay. I'll fire an arrow into this tree over here.
Whereabouts?
If you can see my.
Okay. You notch.
Yeah, notch and just unleash just to see if I can make some noise.
You do. The arrow strikes inward, and you're watching it as you go. The feathers on the arrow, as you fired it, just like begins to rot already. Like the arrows are almost like decrepit, like a carrion birds, almost from like a hawk feather to a carrion. It just begins to like feather it away. The wood begins weakening. It still carries, it still fires as it does, but even just being in the area affects it. It does serve its purpose, but
Nothing, no response?
nothing that you can see, no. Make another perception check as you're up there, just as an effect. Is there anything anyone else wants to do in this meantime?
If I could roll
I'm
anything
gonna
higher than
step out
single
in
digits.
front of Scylla.
I will continue to stealth round a little bit, also keeping my eyes out for movement.
Okay, Blue, you need to make a perception check and
Okay.
stealth check.
Okay.
Grunt and Shimmer, anything you want to do?
I'm also going to pull the blade out, but keep a 10 feet minimum on
The fire.
on the fire. Yeah.
Okay, to let you know, if you go out into that area, you're out in a clearing, you will be visible. So if anything's looking, it will see you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Delmara, about 15 foot ahead of you, you just hear this very loading and the sounds of bones and meat being torn and crunched. Alistair, funnily enough, even with that check, you see a hand, like say, coming out of this shrubbery, and a torso of a person like pulling themselves out their face, like it's an elf, one of a scout perhaps. Their face is being half rotted, and they're trying to scream, but they've got an amalgamation of like 6 tongues that are just flocking out of their mouth, and they're just choking on it. You just see a hook finger, like a massive claw that would be almost as big as you, just sink into it and just drag the body back into the shrubbery.
Okay, that shrubbery is within 60 feet of me, so I'm going to cast at that point Fairy Fire.
Okay. Okay, so I need to make dex checks.
4 slots remaining.
This being whispered? Fucking better be. Always whisper. Because I don't want names being given away. Because obvious reasons. Okay. You see something in it of large creature seems to be immediately like lit up. Like there's some. It's a large form, like say larger than like say an ogre, big, like probably 12, 13 foot tall, and it's broad with this weird like amalgamation of things on its head. As you just see, like you can see the form of it with the lights. And a hand just like moving a skull from that body that just slots off and just putting it up with the others. And you hear a voice ring out. It's speaking in common. It is a twisted voice. Something that doesn't seem to really fully comprehend what it's saying. As it speaks, I need Constitution saving throws from everyone.
Constitution, did you say?
Yes. Shimmer?
Yes,
Constitution saving throw.
He's done one.
Who's done
I
it?
did.
It's Nema.
Did he?
We need Nema.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Nerwin, you take 10 psychic damage, and your right ear begins bleeding. Grunt, you take 4 points of psychic damage, and you're bleeding out of your nose. It's more like a mockery of speech. Guardian, send pawns to protect forest. I will eat heart. Come, weak bear. I will warp you. Perfect you. And as it speaks, you see a hoof out of the shrubbery. Out coming its torso. You see this amalgamation of skulls in almost a web on a spine, almost a rack on its back, like coming up from its head. It doesn't look like it's actually a separate thing, like it's actually been warped and melted into it. Its face is a sloth one, a disgust. It's got hoods of leather and just drags and rags on itself. 2 massive curved horns coming out of it, huge in, like almost huge in size, with a very nasty staff. Like a staff that looks like it's 1,000 skulls and 1,000 faces moving in and out screaming. And this large hooked appendage.
I would like to rage.
As it steps out and looks straight over towards where Scylla and Buckley are. I need everyone to roll initiative.
I would like to roll initiative.
Let's show them to you.
Jesus.
He's an ugly boy.
Oh, he's cute.
Aberrations. Fun.
Did
Nasty
my
ass.
initiative pop up for that, or?
Yeah, where's the
Can't see
hang
the
on.
table, can't see the table currently.
Give us a sec. There we go.
No, mine didn't pop up. Hang on.
You didn't click your character.
Yeah,
Click
I
on
thought
yourself
I had.
when you do it as well.
Yeah, I thought I had done. Initiative start. What was it?
I
about?
just rolled a 19, but that doesn't count because I didn't know I clicked to myself.
No, that's your first roll, so that will be what's counted.
I have advantage on initiative, so I'm going to roll again. So
Oh, it already did the event. Oh, it already did it. Oh, okay.
it didn't for me. Yeah, it's 21. I already did it. Cool.
Yeah, it does it within the roll, but
I'm
it only
just gonna
shows
roll
one
this
number.
again just to change the name, but Scylla's going on an 8.
Okay.
They don't want Brown Bear being represented, so... Oh no, it's done it. Cool.
Oh yeah, you're right. So it should have been 18 for me.
Sending. Edit yourself. And I will then restore it.
Who has more dex, me or you?
Definitely Alistair.
Yeah.
Not even a question. Okay, and I need to make a few rolls myself, now that I've got you lot sorted.
Plus also has a 22, so.
Yeah.
That's
Finally, I got a
going
good roll.
4. Well, so far it looks like it's going to be pretty good rolls for all of you. That sucks for you guys. And he doesn't roll great either. That's good for you. Not for me. Not that fun for me, but for you guys it's excellent. Let me just hide this. Get up my enemies tab. Oh, there he is. There's this big ugly bastard. Okay, so he's going on a... Yeah, okay. So, top of the initiative order, Delmara. About 15 or 20 foot away from you, as you see this beast, you can see this creature. And he just lets out this massive... And as you hear... From about 15, 10 feet in front of you. Rolls a 7. Not roll. But it's instead going to go for the next largest thing that it sees as it pulls itself out. It's a massive amalgamation of hands and arms with a maw that is appearing straight through the center of it with a bunch of nasty, twisted, and distorted fangs. Going on the table. And it's going to run here.
Oh,
do
they
anything.
had such good stealth.
Yeah, you rolled really good. It only rolled a 7 on its check. And I'll show this to you guys.
Small demon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
It looks at you and just like darts straight towards you, Buckley. And as it does, from the forest, as if alerted, roused by this war cry of the Corruptor, these two also are just going to dash in and then dash towards the first thing they see, which is you. Wow, that one only just gets there. Okay, but that's all their turns. Alistair Dartwood, you are now up.
Okay. What the hell am I capable of? Okay, let's start clearing some, I kinda wanna clear some people out of the way. Yeah, I need to clear some room. Okay, I'm gonna take an attack at the one right in front of Buckley.
Okay, you can do that. Make an attack roll. With your elevated position, I'll say you have advantage.
Oh,
You're basically the sniper firing down kind of thing. Yeah, that'll hit.
And then I shall do. No, Buckley can only do one attack per turn because he's forged domain. Yeah, I'll attack the same one again, so I can
Okay, make
do.
another attack roll with advantage again. Ooh, nice. And you
Um,
get your damage because it's already been injured, and that dice is doubled.
Oh, nice. So 6.
So 6. So that's that is 11, 22, and 6. That's 28, and 28 damage. Nice. Yeah, the first arrow sinks into its form, and it looks up at you with one beady eye towards your position, trying to find where you are. Your second arrow sinks through that eye, and it just crumples down dead.
Oh, nice. I shall then, for my bonus action, swing a hunter's mark over on the big baddie.
Okay, we're going to say that you give it, what'll be a good hunter's mark arrow? This one would be a good representation, the one getting shot with a bunch.
Yeah.
I've looked it up, Blue. Unfortunately, I don't know what that creature is, otherwise it looks awesome and I would have used it.
It's from Monster Hunter. Woo!
I knew it was the one when I saw it. Like, the texture styling.
They
but
have a
unfortunately
distinctive style, don't they?
Did that try attacking me, or
Hmm?
or it just ran up on me?
They just got to
not.
you.
Okay,
They just got to you, yeah.
I'm gonna do sure.
You hunter's mark towards that creature, Alistair,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks up at you. Is that your turn?
It's action, bonus action. Do I move?
You're up
No,
in a
I'll
good-
stay in the tree. I'll stay in the tree.
It lets out this massive cry, and just like at the end of your turn, the Corruptor uses its legendary action and strikes the ground out in front of it and just drags with its claw, and another one of these demons appears out next.
Oh, nice. It's gonna be one of those kind of thick bags.
Yeah.
It just points towards, and that creature will have to go next turn. It's currently got res sickness, we'll call it. Not quite Hearthstone, but we'll roll with it. Grunt, you're up.
Alright, I'm going to move. If I get the angle of this right. So I want to move 40 feet up. I want to get an angle where I can. So if I move. I'm going to move there.
Okay.
There. And if I drew my line correctly. Very nice, that'll do. I'll grab Hell, say the word, and chuck as a lightning bolt at
Okay.
the dude going through the other dudes.
Cool. That's going to be 2 dex checks on them. So perform lightning bolt.
Performing lightning bolt.
Thank you for telling me I now need to whisper the rolls, but yeah, those definitely hit. And on the big guy. Oh no. Okay, so that is 18 points of lightning damage to these two. And the big guy takes the bolt straight through it. And it just hits it, and it manages to pull somewhat away, but still takes the shot, and it's a large bolt. But it's less like the strikes that hit the other two, because it pierced through them with a great velocity, just like an impact, bam, bam, into both
It
of them.
basically becomes
And
lightning to go through them, but when it gets to the end, it becomes a javelin.
And the javelin just sinks into him, and the lightning crackles into him, and it just seems more annoyed at it more than anything, and its shoulder where it embedded somewhat warps, and the javelin falls out, not impaling it and falling to the ground. Did seem to do a little bit of damage, but you used to things getting hurt more when you hit them.
That's alright, I just threw something through 2 people, which is always a good day.
Yeah, man, you hurt those two. Those two got fucked up by that.
And that's my turn, that's all I've got.
Cool. Buckley, you're up. You've got one of these monsters an inch from your face. There's a Maw demon an inch from your face.
Give us a kiss.
One more. I'm going to go ahead and slash into this.
Cool, go ahead. I forgot one as well, so we're just gonna say he walks up here. He was late.
He was late.
His name is Norman. He was late. Oh yeah, that hits. Roll a d8 as well for the additional radiant damage. That's 13 damage. Nice. Nice.
And as a bonus action, I'm just going to increase the blade's flight to a max of 30 feet.
Cool. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
Seeing you perform this, the creature's going to use 2 of its legendary actions, pointing out its staff towards you, which just lets out this, this roar, just immediately recognizing you as a threat. I need a Constitution saving throw as you watch as an energy blasts out from the staff towards you.
Lol.
Nice, very nice. So the good news is, from the 15 points of necrotic damage, you only take half, and you don't lose that many hit points. As you withstand the blast from the Rod of Corruption.
Alright. Say again.
You only take 7 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
And you don't have your health reduced by it.
Alright.
So that's on its legendary action. We're now down to Shimmer.
I am going to. I'm going to drop a Scorching Ray on all 4 of the.
Little
Fire
bastards. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm casting it at level 3. I'm going from closest to farthest.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say, please specify, but go on ahead. Yeah. Nice. Nope. And nice. Let me check the ACs. Yeah, that'll hit. Nice. So that's 14 damage to this guy. He is looking fucked up. You actually blast the fire and it gets into its mouth and it just like gurgles from all like. This one, all of them look charred to a point, except the one that just rushed out. You missed it. But the one closest is barely alive. And the one furthest away is barely alive. And they're both barely hanging on there, so you did quite well at that blast. Is there anything else you want to do?
I'll move up a little bit and.
We'll say you move there first, because otherwise you'd have to see past Scylla's big ass.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's all I'm doing this run.
What's that you're gonna do? You done? Yes, no, maybe so? Confirm?
Yeah.
Delmara, you're up.
Well, that one, originally I was going to go attack that one, but it's looking pretty fucked up, so you're probably going to be
Looking
okay.
really fucked up.
Jeez. In which case, I'm going for the more tactical approach rather than just running in. I'm gonna continue to stealth around this way.
Okay, as you're in combat, make a stealth check.
Okay. I'm gonna use my action to dash, but I've only moved 35 feet, so I've only used half my movement, which gives me advantage.
Okay, go on ahead. Nice. Still really good. The chaos of battle seems to be distracting them as bolts of fire and a bear's guttural roar is just being slowly building like a thunderstorm in the background.
And that'll be my turn. I'm just gonna do.
Okay.
Actually, no. I can. No, I've used my action to.
You use your action.
I've used my action to stealth. I've used my bonus action to dash.
Yeah. So that's basically you moving forward stealthily.
Yeah.
At this point, you hear a thunderstorm building above you, and as the bear just roars outward, crushing over the maw demon closest to you, Nerwin, just with one paw. It had no health left. This guy just looking at it would make it fall over. Looking over into the area towards these things, its eyes begin crackling with thunder and just lets out this deep, bellowing roar that, should there have been glass in this area, it would have been shattered. The ground beneath you all trembles as he's casting at a 9th fucking level.
Whoa.
He's not happy. He does not like these things. They've been fucking with his forest.
Nothing like going in guns blazing.
It's gonna be a, let's see. Just gonna make sure now because there's one or two choices here. Yeah, okay. That is, 60 foot in front of him and down towards the other shrubbery. He's going to do a 9th level call lightning.
Now question is, do I need to do the banishments?
So that's going to be a. Funnily enough, I should actually roll it for this one guy because it might survive. Nope, rolled a 1. So all the maw demons in this area, and just like, you can picture yourself a 60-foot radius, so basically, beyond him and down here is just getting fucked right now. I have to roll for this thing. It was a natural 1 on its part. Ooh, not like that. And then finally the big guy.
What's a
And that-
Fumo Rayan?
It's not
You know
a
what that
nice
is.
thing.
You know what that is.
No, I don't.
Okay, so that is all the maw demons dead, disposed of, and that is 65 points of lightning damage to the big. 65 to this thing too, which does not like its outlook on life. At the end of Statsilla's turn, basically charging forward and doing that. At the end of his turn, the creature looks towards the forest and points out a claw and lets out another bellowing roar. And at the end of its turn, you watch as a massive giant creature, a humanoid like a giant, twisted and malformed with lumps and mutations all around it, just bellows out a cry of just defiance and fury, and is going to charge forward, hasted now by the corruptor itself, and is going to batter against Scylla with all the power it has. That hits. That hits. That hits. So that's a lot of damage. 40, that is 60, and that's 74 points of damage. And the bear form seems to be battered and battered back to side as it seems to be taking quite a bit of damage. And it glares at him as the creature glares at him as well. They both smart back, and now with the bonus action, he has to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oops.
Hey,
Fucking wrong.
get that out of my
Lot
way!
of text.
Get the wall out of the way!
That was actually a far misclick.
For some reason, I have Scylla rolling whispers, which he shouldn't be, because, well, Scylla, you guys know him. Never whisper rolls. So the Fomorian. Okay, so that is 68 psychic. And thankfully, Scylla is in a polymorph or a shape-changed form, so he cannot be affected by shape-changing effects while he's in it. One of his bonuses. So currently, he's been battered by this creature's immediate onslaught. And that is the end of its turn. And now it is time for Ultiak to bring out its terror. It strides forward, and you feel like an oppressive aura around all of you, but thankfully, you've all received Hero's Feast, so you do not suffer from the fear aura. But it looks out towards Scylla with a great deal of irritation, and thinks for a moment, which is disturbing on a creature that looks crazed and maniacal, and raises up. What will it do? It points out towards Scylla, and behind Scylla as well, there's just this massive, let's see, it's a radius of 60 feet. So basically, yeah, that's the radius. So there's the other side of it as well. So basically this entire area here with Scylla as like the very front of it, and that's all the way back. I need a lot of saves actually. Constitution saving throw from Buckley,
Everyone?
Grunt, and Shimmer and Scylla, as it casts Circle of Death. Those are Buckley barely makes it. Grunt, I need a Constitution saving throw.
Yep. Sorry, it's lagging a little. There we go.
And Scylla does not make it. I'm actually going to change over, so I'm now rolling as Scylla for the sake of ease of this. Actually, no, because I'll be doing it for everything. Never mind. Scylla does not make it, so he takes 33 points of necrotic damage. And as he does, you see like his actual form begin to sallow a bit, and like the entire area becomes drained of moisture. It's like life in that area has ceased, and you all take 16 points of necrotic damage. And it's just this area around it currently, and
I take half of
Nope.
it, I take it?
yeah, because you're raging, you do.
80 points.
So it's 16 points of necrotic damage.
Altogether.
Altogether, that's what you guys get. And Scylla, you watch his actual form, having not seemed to, after the sheer assault from the other creature that's attacking it, didn't seem to be able to withstand this assault as well. You see its fur begin to actually rot and sag. Scylla gets 2 points of corruption. And then the creature moves forward. Out the massive claw to its side, and is just going to wring it underneath Scylla's throat. That was a 30 to hit. Okay. That's enough to drop him out, and he needs to make a Constitution saving throw. Not succeed, unfortunately. Constitution saving throws are not things Scylla is great at, but this guy is throwing them at him. So, for the sake of this, Scylla is now here. The bear is gone. He's been dropped out of that form.
Crap. That was quick.
To be fair, he took a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage!
So let's see, that was that. So he only takes the... Because he also feasted on the Hero's Feast, he does not take the poison damage. So, funnily enough, that was just enough piercing damage to bring him down without the poison. So, Scylla's now down to his human form, or his elven form. You see his actual features are sagged, and as if he's suffering as well from this effect. The monster looks towards it. Little bear, I will be on her heart. And just grinning down towards him as he just takes a defensive stance unarmed, because he doesn't bring any weapons, because he's a fucking druid. Alistair Dotwood.
Okay, I'm gonna try something. Let's go to the.
Also, the Circle of Death was just a blast, and then it dissipated. So it's not like a continuous effect.
Figured as much.
That would be broken. And that's why I checked it.
Check this out before you wreck us all.
I'm going to use my action to use Fey Presence.
Okay. Explain to us what Fey Presence does.
As an action, I can cause each creature in a 10-foot cube originating from myself to make a Wisdom saving throw against a spell save of 16. Creatures that fail the saving throw are either charmed or frightened, my choice, until the end of my next turn.
So, would you like that Fomorian to be charmed or frightened?
I'm gonna go with charm. See if I can
Okay.
turn the table somewhat.
You look up towards the creature,
Hey, you
and in that
doing?
moment, everyone behind it, you see Alistair. It's almost like there's a silhouette over him. And it's this golden, beautiful, androgynous form of Colin Natholin that looks up and matches eyes with the Fomorian, whose eye is gleamed out towards it. And in that moment, they flash, and they've turned into a bright purple. And it looks with malcontent towards this creature that's been causing it such torment and pain next to it.
Huh.
That's your action, Alistair Dotwood. After you talk to your mother.
Sometimes we have to talk to our mothers. Briefly.
Don't I
I
know
did
it.
that a little bit
Hello,
earlier.
Mama
What
Darwood.
doesn't?
Right, Alistair, is that all you want to do?
No, I think we need to get this fight sorted out as quickly as we can, so I'm going to burn my action surge.
Okay. You have your bonus action as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really do much with an action, with a bonus action.
I'm pretty sure you can do your
What's
hunter
your
thing of
Swift death thing.
Oathslayer. Oathslayer is a bonus action.
Ah, I always forget that. I don't know why.
It's the one you're like.
Because
it's
you
your
always save it.
Yeah, well, I'm not saving it now because I'm using it because I have two uses. So I'm going to use one of them. And I'm going to start firing at our main demon friend here.
Okay. So you mark him. You have Hunter's Mark on him already as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the charm effect from your Fey Presence is not concentration.
Nope.
I know it isn't anyway, because I use it 'cause it's fun. Okay. You have advantage on all these attacks. Unload. You've got
Ooh.
2 attacks, I believe.
I have advantage?
It gives you advantage.
What does?
What's the
Oh,
oath
just
there?
the Oathslayer. Oh, okay.
You can fuck up one guy.
Oh boy.
Very well. Don't need it on that one.
Okay, and then the second
Also,
one.
that crit will have the effect as well of the blood mark. Is that only on one attack? You know, after you've injured something or something's been injured, you get to deal an additional.
Yeah, Colossus Slayer is once a turn. and
Actually,
so-
sorry, it would have been on the first attack, not the crit, because he's already taken a bit of damage. So that 19 would have gotten the D8 as well.
Oh,
No.
that one. So
Actually,
No, the-
what's
the-
the
No, yeah, I think the 32, the 34, and the 19 go together because
Yeah.
advantage.
I didn't realize I had advantage. That's one, and then
So the
other one-
34 and the 19. Okay, yeah.
First
that's
one's a
how it
crit,
works.
second
The
one isn't.
19. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. I'll work with that. So that would have been the Hunter's Mark as well from the Hunter's Mark's every attack, isn't it? It is. It is.
yes, too actually.
And the Colossus Slayer is, I think, only once a
That's-
turn.
Yeah, once a turn, Colossus Slayer.
So
Hunter's Mark's
you can-
included in the one that crit then.
Yeah. So the
I hadn't
Hunter's
taken any
Mark.
damage before that, had it?
No, it had. It took a lightning bolt.
I did. Yeah. So it's a 6 and an 8 then, basically.
So
from them two.
And the-
that's pretty good then, having Hunter's Mark, because that's,
So
like
let's
that's
see.
an additional 4d6.
Yeah.
That you've done
So
there.
let me look at this. So you have
Scales are better.
I'm gonna look at the 11 damage because that was the first damage roll.
Okay.
Plus 6 because Hunter's Mark doubled, and 8, so that's 14, and 11, that's 25. And then your second attack was 14 plus 5, that was 19. That was 25 and 19, I said. Brings it up to 46 points of damage.
Pretty nice.
Very nice.
And I should use my last 5 feet to go down here.
Also, I'm going to say that the call lightning that Scylla produced has dropped. He's taken too much damage.
Yeah.
Glad you used your 9th level spot on that, aren't you?
Well, he blew everything up and he did a chunk of damage.
Yeah.
And to be fair, don't question him. He's an angry druid boy. That's his turn. At the end of his turn, the creature is going to make an attack with the Staff of Vile Resurgence, as I mispronounced it earlier, and is going to swing it, aiming to strike towards Scylla. And that was a fucking natural 20.
Oh my god.
So Scylla takes 23 and 23 damage, 47 damage, 69 damage. And just gets battered across the face with this thing. It just gout of blood just spits out and hits the ground. He almost falls over just from the sheer force of the attack, but he's still standing and just snarling up at this thing. Grunt, you're up.
I would like to move next to our druid friend.
Okay.
And then I'm going to smack Mr. Squiggly Bits twice in the multi-face.
Okay. It's only got one face, but it's pretty fucked up.
That's why I called it multi-face, not multiple face.
And
Just regular, not reckless.
Okay, so that was 10 points of damage. I do remember you factor in your rage to that, so that's only 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yep, that's already factored in.
Just bing! Is that your turn?
Yep, that's it. I'm standing next to my friend, so I'm all ready to try and help protect him.
Okay. At the end of your turn, the creature's going to use 2 legendary action points, and both you and Scylla have to make a dexterity saving throw, as it just sweeps out with the claw in one massive arc towards both.
So I see it coming, that means I get danger sense, which gives me advantage on dexterity
Correct.
saving throws.
Correct.
Provided I can see it coming.
But you do, so that's a dex check. And I have to make one
21.
for Scylla. Scylla's not rolling well tonight. Not rolling well tonight.
And that also
So
activates
thankfully-
my Sentinel ability because he attacks somebody which is within 5 feet of me, which means I get to attack as a reaction.
You can react, yeah. So, thankfully the poison damage is ignored, but it's 26 of, points of slashing damage. And that does not
3
hit.
shots miss. Yeah.
What did your first roll?
Sorry.
Yeah, you rolled a 24, so that hit. You're okay. You're only just back now. He did a legendary action. He's beating the shit out of Scylla.
So do I take half damage or anything since I had to make dex save? or-
From the you take even with your resistance, because what you're noticing is your natural highness doesn't seem to resist this blade, this claw. It seems to just
Okay.
tear into you anyway. And because
I don't
you
get
still
the rage.
did get hit by it, you take a point of corruption, and Scylla now has 3. So you take 13 points of slashing damage total.
Oh no, I've already used my reaction. Never mind.
Yeah, you've used reaction. You just declared it. Buckley, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to do. Use this.
Also, I forgot about his acidic blood, so that's my problem.
Gonna use life transference.
Oh shit.
I'm very surprised it can hurt me while I'm raging. It's weird.
Yeah. It is It is a weapon of the pits and hells, and it is not a nice thing. So you do that, and you give twice as much to someone else. 38 to Scylla.
Yep.
You can already see that his skin is poxmarking. His flesh, his skin, his hair begins to just fall down. He is getting fucked by this thing. There is severe corruption being seeped into him. His the veins around his neck and the veins in his eyes are blackening. So is that your action? Do you want to do anything else? Never be.
I'm looking. Sorry.
Okay.
I've just realised something really obvious.
What's
What?
up?
I didn't even do any of my swift death damage.
You didn't
Oh,
do it? Not my problem.
No, just
You'll remember it next time.
wow.
I mean, I had to remind you about the swift death. That's all you were getting. Anything, Buckley?
This is why post-it
how-
notes are a great idea.
Yeah. Well, no. It was more how injured are people?
Your people?
Yeah.
Everyone seems to have taken a bit of damage. Alistair and Delmara haven't. Scylla looks really battered. Shimmer's taken a bit of damage, and so was Grunt, and so have you. But of all of you, Scylla is the one that seems to be the most injured. Everyone else seems to just be slightly hurt.
Yeah, I'm still on 3 digits. I'm fine.
Well, I'm gonna cast Mass Healing Word at 4th level.
What spell is, what is Life Transference? Is that a spell?
That's a spell.
It is a spell, though. What level?
3rd.
No, you cannot cast that at 4th.
No. Yeah. Right.
You can cast that at 2nd level. So, if we were to look at that, No, sorry, it's a 3rd level spell, you couldn't even cast it.
Yeah. Never mind.
Okay, no, it's all good, it's all good. It's been a while since we've been at it. You're all good. Is that all you want to do? I'm gonna say that is because he's gone. Shimmer.
Would I know if damage would break charm?
You are aware of the charm spell as someone who can perform it, so I say yes.
Alright then.
Says as he quenches the fireball in his hand.
God damn it!
Can't use it! Yeah! When the
I am
fireball!
going to use my multicast, and I'm going to cast 2 Scorching Rays at 3rd level.
Oh shit.
Goddamn.
At the
All the big guy. And not the bigger guy, just the bad guy.
This is what happens when the sorcerer is pissed.
Yeah. Sorcerers can fuck shit up. That's a hit. 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 Nope. That everything?
That's all of it.
Are there any ones or
Are you-
twos to even reroll?
Fucking, you can check first, because I'm not gonna look through them until you do.
There's one.
Third one
there.
down. Third one down.
2, 3, 4,
Counted 3.
5, 6.
3.
Is it ones and twos?
No.
Or
Just
just
ones.
ones? Okay.
Just one.
Ones are counted as 2s.
Okay, so I'm going to add up this total. Then we can subtract 3 from it. And then we'll add the additional whatever you roll. So, that is 29, 41, 50, 62, 74, 82, minus 3 to 79. Now roll 3d6.
What?
Roll 3d6 because you get to re-roll your ones.
No, the one's just.
No, they're
counts as 2s.
2s.
Oh, you're
Oh, they're
confusing.
counted
you're,
as twos?
you're confusing it with
Any
great
one
weapon.
I roll is
Okay.
counted as 2.
So, so it's 82 plus 3, 85 points of damage.
Dude almost did 100 points of damage in one turn!
Fuck me.
By fire be purged.
I'll tell you something about that after the game. You just launch out this massive display with your finger from each fingertip. It is just everything blasting out. You're snapping your fingers like fucking Roy Mustang. Bang, 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 bang. And and you just unload on this creature, and you blast it back onto its back leg. Is that your turn?
Mm-hmm.
As you do that, now registering you as a threat, make a Constitution saving throw as it raises its staff up and points at you. You're letting out this massive cry, and because it's been badly injured, because that really fucked it up, that does not make it. The dice goes up. Okay, take 11 points of necrotic damage. Your total health gets reduced by that.
Okay. Does that count the Hero's Feast?
That ignores, so basically your natural hit points have now gone down. That's why I said to keep the things separate, because I knew that would get confusing with this. So your normal HP has gone, your total has gone down by a level, and your current has gone down by a level. So now just like subtract 11 from both of them for now. And yeah, take 1 point of corruption damage as well. You're now corrupted. Delmara.
Ooh, okay, well, things have now nicely come into position for me, so I'm gonna come out over here, and I'm gonna use the Cutlass of Flaming on this dude.
Go ahead.
Flanking advantage and sneak attack.
Go ahead. Does not know you're there as well, so you'd get advantage from that. It's where there's threats, but does not know that you're there. It's far more intent on the druid in front of it. So with advantage, that will hit. So let's see. That is. Thankfully, we're treating this as being dealt by fire, so the wound is cauterized. Because now that is an attack. Because these are two fire attacks from him and you.
That's why
acidic
I'm
blood
using this sword.
Smart woman. So that is 32 points of damage. Nice!
Cool. Move that.
Just roars out in pain at you, swinging its claw out towards you before positioning itself back over to Scylla. But just like you ducking underneath it, you were just keeping low right now.
I use my bonus action to disengage away a bit. Because I don't want to get hit in the face with that.
And now it's back to Scylla, who must now make a wisdom saving throw. Thankfully, the DC is 10 plus the level of corruption. He's at 3, so that is 13 as the DC. He rolled 14.
Why is Scylla rolling like shit?
I don't know.
Ah!
It's almost like the creature that he's fighting is the antithesis of him in every way.
Not
Realizing
like
that there's a massive threat here, not liking it. He is going to cast Sunbeam point blank on this thing.
Yes.
Constitution saving throw on this thing's part. 30 points of damage. It succeeds, so it's not blinded and only takes half damage.
Damn.
And smelling the magic begin to collate next to him, the creature just draws its claw back and gets to make an attack. Not a fan of magic. With the Dark Touch once more. That's a 21, that beats his AC. Still, it takes another 22 points of piercing damage. And you guys watch as basically the effect of magic that seemed to be like lingering, because you can tell there's a glow or warmth to people when they're under effect of Hero's Feast. That is now gone. Still is on 4 points of corruption out of 5. And that means he takes the poison damage, which is now a 23 points bonus. And he collapses down to one knee in exhaustion and makes a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage now to maintain Sunbeam. He does not. Sunbeam is gone. His turn is now gone. The Fomorian, doing what you asked, still being under the effects of haste, is going to batter the absolute shit out of this thing. And as it raises its club up, its eyes go dim for a moment, and it seems stunned as the creature has dropped haste on it, meaning that it's now lost a turn. The creature looking up removes the magical effect and denies him it, because it can be done almost as a free action. And
bonus action.
Is it to drop a spell?
I don't know. Depends on the
I will.
spell. Depends on the spell.
Depends on the spell. Depends on the caster, I think. Okay, we'll say for now that he can get the wailing in on this guy. That's going to be 3 great club attacks, and the evil eye has to recharge. So let's see. First attack. Nope. Yes. Nope. So that's 1 great club attack that successfully hit. 15 points of damage towards the. And that's the Fomorian's turn as it uses evil eye last. Wow, it did a lot more damage to fucking Scylla than it did this guy, and Scylla's got an equivalent AC. Shit. Man, the rolls are not against, they're just against Scylla today, folks. And now we get to Ultiag's turn. Looking very annoyed at the small creatures around him, denying him his fun. He looks to you, Grunt, and raises up a hand at you.
Hello.
And give me a charisma saving throw.
Yeah, I'm gonna broken at least.
Nope. Grunt disappears from. Just with a pop, is gone.
Shit.
Bye bye bye.
The creature looks bloodied and battered, but smiles over towards its prize. Scylla is still there.
You
Only
didn't
still
need extra attack, did you?
No. You watch as the creature now spends its turn assaulting Scylla with every ounce of force it has, reaching out its hand with the staff and jamming it at him. Form this. That does hit. And this will be at... yeah, it'll cast it at a 5th level. That is 39 points of necrotic damage from inflict wound. And then it's going to make its only 2 attacks this turn. And we'll go to it. It's going to use Dark Touch. Successfully hits. And that is 35 points. And then, looking at Scylla, who now collapses down onto both knees, his skin is turned black, his eyes have entirely jettisoned over, and Scylla is now fully corrupted.
Fuck.
It points its staff down at it with a malicious glee and swings to hit, which it does, dealing 38 points of necrotic damage. Scylla is on his last breath. Alistair Dartwood, Hunter Extraordinaire, it is your turn. You see a quarry before you. And I'll say for the sake of this, because it will definitely have used this bonus action, the giant is now stunned. Giant will not get its next turn.
Okay, I've rejigged my Swift Death thing so it's now its own separate roll.
Okay. You have advantage on all these attacks. You hear a voice in the back of your head. Do not let him fall, kill him now! Okay. Stop rolling there.
You wonder why I'm multi-class.
Yeah, let me make sure I'm doing this right. So the 4 gets double and then gets double, so that is 8 and
You
4,
say that, but
14.
all of that is just from you, not from multiclassing.
Alistair
Crit on a
Darkwood,
19.
how do you want to do this?
Hey!
Do you want to unleash every other arrow in fury and anger, or...
Just over the top of Scylla's head, I want to make sure that I grab this claw from its arm and insert it into its own head through the force of the arrow.
Okay, you watch as it's moving up its claw like a scythe about to cut wheat, and swings it down, and as it does, it's swinging down, you hit the very where its wrist would be. Because there is no wrist, there is no hand, it's just this morphed out into the claw. You hit it with force, it pierces through, you can hear the crunching of solid bone, piercing through, and with that force, you strike it, the claw sinks into its face, as it stabs itself as with it, sinking in like a scythe, jammed over like a stabbing weapon. and the arrow pierces the hand to the face. You just unload arrow after arrow after arrow, almost like Corellian and Delia together are just forcing you. Fire, fire, keep firing, kill this thing, kill this thing!
The Mega Man ult from Super Smash Bros.
Sylvanas.
And you... It's standing there for a moment, and one final... The creature collapses backwards. Dead. And then you hear a bone crunching as it begins trying to rise back up.
Ah, crap. I'm gonna move right in there in between Syl and the Fomorian then.
Okay. It's not currently back up, it's getting back up. It seems like it'll take it some time to do this. Grunt, your turn is... oh, you do still have your other attacks. That was all just flare. You do have your other attacks.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You
well,
only
before I
did
move
one
on then-
attack!
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did all that as flare, like...
I'll now take a strike at the Fomorian then.
Okay.
Might as well use my other one.
This is stunned, so you have advantage on this attack.
I'm using the other Swift Death. Because I get 2
you're gonna
targets
use-
now.
Yeah, you get 2 targets because of the blessing, the awakening. Go on.
Now, I'm also going to use my Elven Accuracy here. Let's see if I can get that one of them 20s.
That's counted as a piercing. It should not be slashing because you're using the sword, as you're in melee.
No, I'm not. This is before I move.
Oh, sorry, no,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah. I thought you had already moved in. I didn't register you moving back. Sorry.
I'm going to see if I can get a 20 out of this. No. Never mind. Why the fuck did that roll? Oh, okay. Ignore that. I was trying to see if I can get a naughty natty 20.
Naughty natty.
Cheeky natty twin.
So 19.
That
19
does
damage.
definitely hit, and it's already taken damage, so you will also get your Colossus Lair. Oh no, you don't. It's once a turn on Colossus Lair. Never mind me. Once a creature.
Yeah.
At present, you can move your no, sorry. Use your bonus action to say Swift Death, so you can't swap your hunter's mark. So that is 19 points of piercing damage, and aren't you forgetting another bit of damage?
No.
With Death. You said you moved it onto it. You targeted him as well with it, so you have your Swift Death damage as well.
That is there. That's the
It's
10.
in the roll.
Oh,
He's
you've
he's
added-
programmed it in.
Oh, sorry.
You
Yeah.
count both damages.
Swift
Oh,
Death now
okay.
has its own attack roll, so I don't miss it in the future.
Cool, got it. Cool. Okay, so wow, that was a shit roll.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Out of 18. Yeah.
doesn't look like it's much damage though. Like it only looks like it rolled a D8. You get a lot more damage on the Oath Slayer than that. I think it's like 3d6 or something you get. And
Yeah, that's the
Mouse,
right-hand side.
mouse over them. You can see D8 and 3d6 in the
Okay.
2 windows.
Oh,
So
sorry, that's
19
the.
altogether.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was like rolling for another attack. Sorry.
No, left
sorry.
one's
Okay,
the bow,
that's what that-
right one's
Nah,
the
it's
Swift
got both damages, like how my sword has slashing
Perfect.
and fire.
Yeah.
Thank you.
should
Thank you
put
for
it in
clarifying. Appreciate that.
there.
19. I
Descriptors.
got it. So the Fomorian definitely isn't charmed anymore, but is still stunned. So you really damaged it badly with that one. Nice. Striked up, and you just shot it through its throat and out the back. It's still up. It's still stunned. Like it doesn't really seem responsive. Just goes. It's still standing. Grunt, you are currently brought back, and because its concentration's dropped because it's dead.
She's brought back on top of Alistair!
No, she lands on 5 feet around it, so I'm going to say she's 5 feet here. Actually, if anything, she would have returned the moment this occurred, so you would be here, Grunt.
Oh, yeah.
Noticing that the creature is now dead, and you watch Alistair fire up an arrow and move over here.
Could you put an X on it for me?
This
I can't actually reach
The dead one. It's messing with my OCD.
No, it's
with
getting
the
back up. It's getting back
Oh,
up.
good.
It's
Currently
it's only
pulling
half
itself
dead.
back up.
Oh, yeah, no, okay. Yeah.
So is it my turn then?
Your turn, Grunt. The Fomorian is stunned.
Alright. Well, since this dead thing seems to be making an...
Oh, you may want to describe
Unhealthy
how
decision.
Scylla looks in case, because she wouldn't know. Because Scylla has changed since she vanished.
Still
No,
has,
he was
yeah?
It's like
Scylla is now got blackened eyes and is down on both knees, and there's this just black ichor, not even blood anymore, trickling from his mouth.
I did see him getting blackened.
No, you
wasn't
got
that
banished
much
out
worse.
first.
worse now.
You got banished out first.
Yeah, but I saw some of it happening, so I'm pretty sure she would be
Now
aware
he's
that.
worse. He's worse again.
The thing that seems to be trying to get up despite being dead, I'm gonna hit it twice with my hammer. Like, stay down! Bad thing!
Bad dog.
Stop not being dead.
Well, it's definitely advantage because it's currently down, so that is 25 points of damage. Okay. It seems
down,
like
stay
part
down.
of it is almost like being pulled down, but still, there's some energy there trying to pull it back up. Like it's not. You certainly helped, but it's still trying to get back up.
And I
like
turn
it's gonna
to
take a lot more
Buckley and
force.
sort of do a sort of head tilt, like, can you stop this thing from getting up?
That's your turn, Grunt. It is now Buckley's turn.
I'm gonna fly over and jab this thing with my fucking sword.
You fly up over it and you dive down with the blade.
He has the high ground.
It's over, Anakin.
Whoops.
And he fell at once!
Well, it's supposed to be with advantage because he's down.
Just roll straight again. Just roll once again. Yeah, that's
Better.
gonna hit. Okay,
And
so
then I'm also hitting
Do it again, but better this time.
with a extra 1d8 fire because of my divine strike.
okay. So roll an additional 1d8.
Burn,
Plus
baby,
then
burn.
another d8 because of it being a fiend.
That is
And
8,
another D8 because it's
11,
Tuesday.
16.
For when you
16.
want things super dead.
Okay, so that's 16 points of damage.
And
Buckley, you
then-
fly over it, and you dive down with the blade. And for a moment, those around you, it seems like wings have grown out of the back of him, like they're just fluorescently there, shimmering images behind him. And he drives the blade down into this creature, sinks it in deep, your hand guided, striking for the heart. And you just push, and you push, and you push, and the entire creature's form begins reaching out, like every orifice is a mouth just screaming in agony. And it just begins igniting with fire. You just push it down with all your might. It kicks, it screams, it bites. No matter what, though, it can't touch you. And in this moment, the creature collapses entirely dead.
Thank
Still counts as my kill.
Definitely
I
does
don't
not.
And in that moment, those around you, you can see as if it's not him, but from Buckley, as if a recreation of the final moments of Peronis. You see his form winged, striking down at it as if blood of gold is dripping from him down onto it and burning it. Recreating the final moment between Peronis and Vyria.
And then as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Mass Healing Word at 4th level.
Cool! Knock that shit out, bud.
Seven health to everyone.
You give this to Scylla as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's 7 people, or 6 people, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Oh, yeah, he's corrupted. Oh, shit.
Did you read any of the messages I sent you?
Look, I was dealing with a dog.
I will fly
you
to
died because
America
of a
and
dog.
strangle you.
It's fine, you can give him a shave with the lightsaber later, see if that helps.
I won't do that.
It's the newest thing from Gillette.
Yeah, no, I
You let the
won't.
best your druid can get.
I won't do that.
This is not the best the druid can get. It's a lot worse.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna heal at all.
You can choose not to heal him.
Okay, yeah, I'll heal everybody else. Just not Scylla.
Okay.
Grunt's
let's
not an
send it to everyone
expert,
else.
but Grunt's not an expert, but she figures, you know, if somebody gets corrupted, you could always give them a lightsaber in there, and that would probably fix it.
Shimmer, you're up.
Okay.
Seems like that creature is down for the count finally. Now it is just the large giant. that is seemingly stunned at the moment. All attacks against him because he is stunned have advantage.
Remember that thing I did last round?
Gonna do it again?
I'm doing it again at 4th level.
Knock this shit out, boy. I'm just gonna look at its AC and just say, yeah, okay, just go on ahead. I've looked at the AC. Oh, yep,
Advantage.
yep. Oh no, sorry, yeah, with advantage, the first one hits. So, yep.
Definitely, yeah.
Is it
Okay.
dead yet?
35, 49,
Let's pull out the calculator.
69, 83, 94, 106, 113, 123.
Add 4 onto
It's
that
fucking
from the
100
ones.
and 127. It's fucking dead.
Why
You
couldn't
just
you have done that to the bigger one?
He did! He dealt 85 damage to that one! You just unload this torrent of pain and anger towards it, and the creature just collapses down dead. Its thunderous hit against the ground, shaking all of you as it does. For the second point of this, we're still in combat.
Yeah.
Delmara,
I thought so.
Shimmer, is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn? You've done your bonus action, and you've done your action. You want to do any movement?
I'm gonna move forward a bit.
Okay. Delmara. Now your turn.
Because as far as I can see, everything's dead. I'm just gonna calmly walk around this way.
In the moment you turn towards Buckley, you then see Scylla. His skin blackened as if charred by 1,000 fires. But pox-marked. Pox being white dots all across his body. His eyes look up to the heaven as his back is arced out, his knees to the ground, his ichor pouring from the side of his mouth. His eyes now blackened over. And his fingers just twitching ever so slightly.
Guys? I think there's something wrong. Buckley, can you do something? And I guess that's probably my turn, because we're still in initiative.
As you say, I think something's wrong. You have no idea. Scylla stands back up. Looks towards all of you. And has to make a wisdom saving throw. I'm going to tell you guys now. DC 20.
Oh my god.
Good job.
Druids.
It's the one thing he's good at! The one roll he needed!
Wise as fuck.
And as he says, you've no idea. His hand begins reaching out for your throat, Buckley, but as it does, it's like the one hand moves, the other one grabs it. And in that moment, vines erupt up all around him and just grab his arms, his neck, his hands. He's restraining himself at this point, and that's his turn. Fighting himself. Fighting the earth. And at this point, Alistair, Grunt, Buckley, do you guys want to do anything? I'm going to do it in
No.
packs now.
I'll grapple the druid.
Okay, make an athletics check.
restoration.
Okay, that is a wisdom check for you, Buckley. You make an athletics check. I'm going to contest it against Scylla because part of him is fighting, so this is going to be a disadvantage.
This is a strength check, so it has advantage since I'm still raging.
Yeah. Okay, he fails, so he's now being restrained. Buckley, that is a successful check. 1 point of corruption is removed. Greater restoration. Alistair,
Thought it might help.
what type of creature do you choose? You have to choose one. I'm going to
Fiend.
say for this instance, you have to choose it. Okay.
Fiend.
You touch it out towards him. 1 point of corruption gets removed by you. 1 from Buckley.
I'm a clerk.
Good, good. More of that.
You touch it out, and it's just this fey barrier around him, just resisting that energy, that darkness. And Grunt, it doesn't take much. He's exhausted, near death. He's very weak right now, and you managed to restrain him down with a bear hug almost.
Yep.
Not too tight to hurt, but enough to hold. And we're going to say at this point, we drop out of combat. Scylla manages to regain, because I haven't made him do checks on 13, only on a 14. And you drop him down, and he collapses to his knees, and he just coughs out this black ichor. Buckley, you want to do anything else? No, he's gone. I will say, we'll hold what that is, and we'll use that retroactively. He's somewhat around. I think he's dealing with the dog.
Puppy.
Whatever you're doing, it seems to be working.
He's coughing heavily, and it's just this black ichor pouring out of him onto the ground, like a sludge or oil.
Behind, like,
Grunt, you're very aware right now. You have a bit too much strength for your sake, and he's
I wouldn't actually. I wouldn't actually. Grunt does the Heimlich as she would for something smaller than her. She's fully aware she did the Heimlich on a regular person who turned their chest into a ruddy water balloon.
As you try to touch at him, he just tries to strike out against you, like trying to keep you away. Don't. And at this point, the fiends around you, all their bodies begin to burn, fade away. Nothing is left of them. As is the case of fiends being sent back to whatever plane of existence they spouted from.
Looks like these ones are either magical or self-cleaning.
The forest is still heavily corrupted.
Is now really the time?
It's alright, druid person. We'll get up all this gas. And then you'll
We'll
sleep
say
better.
over the period of this that Buckley will have used Greater Restoration a few more times.
However many
Max-
spell slots he has left.
I'm going to see how many he has left, because I don't think he has many, because Greater Restoration is not a cheap one.
It's 5th.
5th, okay. He will have had one more Greater Restoration left in him, so he can reduce the corruption to 2. And we'll say, just from, say, regenerative magic, that Scylla can purge himself of the other 2 with his last few spell slots he has. But he is now suffering from 4 points of exhaustion.
I'm to assume I still have
That is
one?
a fucking shift and a half for a body, I'm just letting you guys know.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. Do I still have a point of corruption?
You do, yes.
Okay.
We'll say, for the sake of ease, that you guys can remove it. You do have a cleric, and you do have a druid,
Do
and
we
you have
know I have a point
people.
of corruption to actually do that? We probably do the rounds.
Yeah, well, it's quite obvious.
check.
It's visual. It's visually like
Yeah.
you have this blackened venules to you, where you otherwise would have like this dark, like clay red or brown.
So
kinda sticks out.
my blue markings become black.
Yes, so it's quite evident on you, so it's easy enough to remove. We have clerics, we have druids, and we'll say Lesser Restoration cast several times can help remove it, so that's why we can balance this out a bit.
All right, I'll carry our druid friend back to.
When you
the
try
next bit.
to like lift him up, he just tries to push you away. Don't. And his body is physically shaking at this point. He's
I'll give him a kiss on the forehead and pat his head. It's like, there, calm down.
away. And I'm bloody glad I got your help. Oh, fuck. Oh. Oh, and he's just holding his stomach right now and holding his sides, and he's just clearly in pain. I'll have to get someone to burn this part of the forest. And he looks towards you, Shimmer.
Dragon!
I need a controlled fire. Can you give a
Controlled.
controlled fire?
Christmas is
Well,
coming.
you produce the fire. Grunt will produce the control by laying on it if it starts to become a problem.
But I've got to get back to the heart. I gotta get back.
Can I insight check
Right.
him to make sure he is okay?
Go ahead.
I'm
Also, guys-
great at insight.
I also got a DM's Whispers when I did my first IRL D&C session, so it's great. It's
Hey.
great. Blue, come to DM Whispers.
Oh, it's me!
Oh.
It's you! So, you can tell from his intent that he is desperate. He feels like he needs... You can tell that there's a definite belief in himself. He has to get back. There's definitely that... There is that mortal breath, as you could call it, that realization of, oh shit, I could die, to him. He is shaking, he is exhausted, but there's no sense of malcontent in his heart or no maliciousness. So it is just like a I've got to get back sort of thing.
Okay,
Alright?
okay.
Back up.
Yep.
Boopity-boop.
So you guys, with him, begin limping back.
Shop at Game Tea. I said it while you're gone, but it didn't work.
Good. You keep saying it then. Keep saying
Shop
it.
at Game Tea. Shop at Game Tea. Shop at Game Tea. You get the idea.
Etc.
What did he want scorched?
Just to let you know, someone in Twitch is currently referring to you like Bahamut, from Final Fantasy, so I'd be taking that as compliment, Shimmer. Basically, he points out to the areas around him. If it's blackened or dead, he wants it burned. And you can just have a pyro from TF2 just to, do you believe in magic? You can just have a fun little day for yourself of pyrokinetic.
Well, that's what Burning Hands is for.
And you burn most of the forest down in this area. You burn down a good acre.
Jeez.
But it is controlled, and you manage to limp yourselves back afterwards, making sure that he's okay. The Fomorian's body does not decompose, but you just set a light to help sturdy. How would you properly pronounce that? Accelerate the process.
Yeah.
Habada, accelerate. So you guys are moving back, so we're going to say for the sake of brevity that you guys move yourselves back towards the heart of the forest. Boop! Scylla leans up against the walls near the well, or the fountain, I should say, which the Dryad stands upon. And she looks him over before looking over everyone else, and if anyone did have lingering corruption, she expels him. Very easily, she just waves her hand and the effect is gone. Who here speaks the language of the Fae?
Not Sylvan. Elvish.
Yeah. So...
Jonathan,
Jon-
hang on, let me look at his character sheet.
I technically can, but I don't think it'll help.
Jonathan doesn't have any languages written on his sheet.
Okay.
I'm back, sorry.
You're okay. You're okay. We just said that you used your last greater restoration and a few
Yeah.
lesser restorations to purge it out and purge out anyone else, and the Dryad is also doing the same as well.
Okay.
So she leans in, does Cinnamoris to Scylla and just kisses him on the forehead, and it's just like the energy in him. It's not replaced, but it's definitely revitalized, like a withered plant that is just given more water, sunlight. It looks like it will heal, but it will be a slower process. She looks towards all of you. You've aided the forest in a dire time. I thank you for this. Even its greatest guardian, one of the great shape changers, the Moon Guardians, could not defend this alone. You have my thanks. You have... She looks towards the trees and there's a wind that blows. You have their thanks. You have the creature's thanks. You have the thanks of all of us, of life itself here. That corruption and that vile thing had to have been stopped, and I am glad you did. Know it now that I am indebted to you, as is Scylla, as is this forest. When the time comes, should you need us, we will come in force. But I understand that caution and stealth are your preferred choices when you move towards the city of slavers.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I did take Hell with me, by the way.
Yeah, you picked it back up. I presumed as much.
Oh, my fucking spear. I had to kill to get that.
She looks out towards all of you, and to Alistair, she looks towards, and her eyes meet yours, and it looks like she looks past you at something else and nods. And in her hands, she just moves this motion of just one way, curving out, and then spreading out her hand above, and in her other hand then drops down a massive war horn made of fine oak with many runes across all the sides of it, and she presents it to you. When you need us, all using it. You'll hear. You'll come.
You avoided saying blow then, didn't you?
So hard.
I could say.
God damn it!
I was like, who am I handing this to? No.
So Alistair's the only one who can understand this, right?
No, she says this in common. And she
I don't
did
speak
to everyone in common.
I don't speak Sylvan anyway, so.
Like, fuck for that. And otherwise, she'd be like, thank you for your gibberish.
I write a note and ask if I can hug her. Can I hug the weird tree
She just
lady?
puts a hand out and just like rubs your head, and that's pretty much the most you're getting.
Ah. I like the tree lady. Alistair, do you want to keep that horn? Because I actually have proficiency in horns.
Got proficiency in blowing.
Sure, make a note you have an oak war horn for summoning Old Fortune aid.
The Horn of Cinnamoris.
Horn of
You're going to have to
Cinnabar
write that if I'm
Island.
going to actually write that.
The Horn of Cinnabar Island.
If I showed it to you guys, you should see it there, but Cinnamoris.
I just need the spelling. And now I can't see it.
Horn of Cinnamorisons.
This is why we don't get nice things.
Can we get the pipes of Marks and Spencers?
Unfortunately not, no.
Cool, because I've had the, since I'm an entertainer by background, I've had the horn proficiency for goodness knows how long.
Ta-da!
Can't match
I'm
up to
not
that
making
person I
jokes.
saw who drew their Aarakocra rowing a boat and they said, I wanted to use my ship proficiency, damn it. You could fly! But I want to row the boat!
You can't fly all the time, you need to sleep, that's where boats come in handy.
God, I'm tired.
You can tell.
And that, as you guys end, is where we're going to leave it.
Woot woot.
Well,
And I'm going to give you guys exactly what this horn is based on. And I don't care what anyone says. Yes, it's a WoW reference. I don't care. But when it is blown, it will sound something like that.
Sounds something like what?
Wait, just
Mercenaries.
one sec.
And there will be no wisps. But thank you all so much for watching. That was fun. That was chaos. And that was another opponent defeated.
So it actually looks like that. There's an epic horn.
It's a big ass fucking horn as well.
yeah.
I emphasize that.
Probably just as well I'm carrying it around then.
To be fair. But, who even
No.
knows when we're going to be having a session next?
No,
so
Scoop, no.
just
Yes,
keep your eyes peeled on social media and
this is the most
YouTube.
inconsistent of our streams, but we do stream every Wednesday. We try to. With Storm King's Thunder, which is a different group
Storm
except
King's
for that
Thunder.
fluffy woman.
because it's
Blazer.
my Twitch channel.
Yep, because if I streamed it, you'd all see what I'm doing, and that would be boring as shit.
Spook. Are you off next weekend?
We can talk this discussion once the stream's down. Thank you all so much for watching.
We'll
Remember
see
to
you
shop
when
at
we
Game
see
Tea.
you. Bye bye.
Yo,
Shop at
mate.
Game Tea. It makes the streams come faster.
It does.